It is November 12th, 2025, and we have some new email leaks from everyone's favorite undisclosed files, specifically pertaining to Epstein. I promise we won't get too hard into it because I know they've been covering it on IRL, but we do have a couple things I want to talk about on that. And we also are going to touch on the geomagnetic storm currently sweeping the country as we speak. According to Kellen, it's a little green outside, a little pink, but not much and kind of disappointing. So we'll get to that too. Welcome to Inverted World Live. I am tonight's host, Brandon Miner. You're also producer and co-host on the side. Shane is out sick tonight. We're hoping he's going to be back tomorrow. But in the meantime, the show must go on. So we are a call-in show, about 20 or 30 minutes. I will open up the phone lines. I'll get a couple links in there for you guys here pretty soon, and we can talk about whatever you guys want. You want to get into cryptids? You want to get into UFOs, aliens? Obviously, you guys know I'm not openly religious, but if you want to call and talk about religion, I will have that conversation with you too. We are not opposed to that. So, and backing me up tonight is the effervescent graphene god himself. Ian Crossland is here, ladies and gentlemen. Ian.
Greetings.
What is going on, man?
Well, I'm wondering if you would use a bludgeoning, slashing, or piercing weapon to kill zombies. If you had to fight hordes of them, what would you use?
Hordes, specifically?
Like endless supply.
I mean, damn, he came out of nowhere with that. So bludgeoning, I feel like, is definitely going to be more effort because that requires you to seriously physically beat on a zombie, right? You know, piercing, I mean, if we're going by, you know, the way the legends go, destroy the brain in any way, shape, or form. Now, piercing gets in there, gets the job done super quick. You just got to penetrate the skull, right? Baseball bat, I feel like you got to beat on him for a little bit. So I'm going to probably go with piercing.
Amen, brother. I'm piercing all the way. I picked up a spear today, like an actual carbide spear. You get about 5 feet of distance, too, because you need a lot. I don't want to get close to those things.
Yeah.
You know, you might miss with a spear. I think you're less likely to miss with a hammer, but you got to crush the brain. You got to destroy the brain. Decapitation with the sword requires so much effort also, unless it's a really sharp sword.
Yeah,
but the spear in the forehead, man.
Or unless you roll a nat 20.
Yeah, you could always crit.
You got a spear and you roll a 1, you're getting eaten.
If you drop your spear, fortunately, these zombies don't grab your weapon. Otherwise, the spear might be more of a loose vulnerability. But I like the spear. I like especially these really new spears. They're really...
Yeah. And I always thought about it. I'm like, does destroying the brain also count as like decapitating the head from the body and severing it from the spine? Because I feel like the brain is still alive, which means that you're just going to have like a flipping head.
Oh, you're
kind
right.
Of still trying to bite you, even though it has no mobility, right?
Yeah, well, the brain and the spine are one creature.
Sure.
So if you ever pull it out of the body,
the brain is what tells the spine to do, essentially. Like, so if you remove the spine, you've still got the brain, no?
It's all one unit. The brain spine is like basically, if you look at like picture of a brain that has been taken out of a body, and it's the brain with the eyes, because the eye is also part of the brain. They're all connected. And then the spine. And it's like, looks like a floating jellyfish monster. So maybe if you cut the spine in half, it would destroy the brain. But I think, hyperbolically, you got to pierce through the top cranial aspect of it. So you might be right.
Yeah, in my experience, you got to make that thing stop working. You can't just disconnect it from everything else. But I mean, I don't know. I've never had the experience.
So piercing weapons, what's your preferred piercing weapon?
Preferred? I mean, I don't know. I've always kind of glorified the guy that runs through the horror movie with a chainsaw. I think that dude's kind of a badass, but that just seems like too much effort. Plus, if you run out of gas or, if you're one of those crazy assholes that's trying to save the environment by killing zombies with an electric, sawzall or something like that, I feel like, okay, well, that lasted for about 20 minutes and now you're screwed. So
you'd use a saw? Those are more slashing, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you got the chainsaw running, that's slashing, slicing, sure. But you can I've also seen people stab with them.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? So, you put it straight through their face, the front end of this.
You could do that to trees, too. That's a cutting method. They stab into the tree in quarters. And
that's how they do those carving contests and shit like that. Have you seen that? Where they have, like, the freaking, like, competition carvers and they do this, and then all of a sudden it turns into, like, a freaking... They carve, like, a 16 chapel out of it or something,
You'd be proficient in chainsaw?
I would hope so. I mean, I did do landscaping for like 6 or 7 years, so I'm pretty good with them, but I'm not that good. I just feel like I could totally totally kill some zombies.
We were talking about flamethrowers, and they're like, "Would you flamethrower?" I'm like, "Yeah, but you got to be able to put the fire out after you light them."
Yeah, but then you got a zombie running around on fire trying to bite you. It just seems like you're increasing the complications of the situation.
The upside is if it's a horde, I'm like, all right, bust out the flamethrower. Because if I'm up on a wall and they're just clawing against the wall, I can light them, a few of them on fire, and they'll burn the other ones, and then they'll all. But you need like a mechanism there to like put the fire out, and don't breathe the fumes, because I think it's kind of like eating them.
Yeah, seriously. You would think you could get infected off of something like that, but who the hell knows? Hey, as long as you've got your mask on, right? That's what Fauci says.
Oh, yeah. You got a double mask, though, I think, to prevent transmission. I could be wrong about that.
Well, that was cool. We burned a good 5 minutes on that one. Fuck yeah, let's go.
Talk about it for 40 more, dude.
So,
would you be like one of the agile guys that like gets in and kills and then gets out?
I don't know. It really all depends, like... See, the things you don't take into consideration with some of this stuff is like, has the guy who's defending off the horde slept in the last 2 days? Has he eaten? Is he hydrated? You know, these are all things that are going to come into effect the second you start fighting. You're either going to last 5 minutes or 5 hours, but either way, you're going to get tired. And if you don't get the hell out of there, it's only a matter of time. You know, at least I would think.
You got to keep your eyes. You got to know what's behind you at all times because they're quiet.
Realistic point of view, yeah, it just seems like a lot of this stuff just isn't like practical when it comes to like this actual situation. Like you've really got to you got to be the guy that's got the trap set. You've got a place to hide yourself. You know what I'm saying? You got a way to throw off, you know, or hide from them or cloak yourself in some way, shape or form because you don't want to attack a whole horde head on.
Traps is where it's at.
Yeah.
Traps.
Yeah, definitely.
What kind of traps?
Shit, anything.
Like spike
really.
traps?
Like holes in the ground they can't crawl out of. Yeah, spike traps, you know, nets, snares, anything like that. Anything that's just they're not expecting, they walk into, it deters them.
Does electrocution kill them?
I don't know.
That'd be an interesting test to run.
I mean, obviously, like if we're still messing with the right rhetoric here, it would have to destroy the brain.
Because I was thinking if you had a spear with like an electrical, like it'd shock them with it, and you could just stab their face with it and blow up their head or something. But I mean, you get a lot of power to do something like that.
Yeah, I feel like that could be in Dead Rising for sure.
Man, I was just thinking about killing zombies earlier. Thanks for indulging me.
Yeah. So we got a super chat from Jeffrey. Looks like, hey, Ian, I was fortunate enough to play drums, cajon, for you and Tim after you invited me up on stage at the first Timcast meetup event. It was an honor. Hope I did all right.
Yeah, you were banging, dude. That was awesome. We have photos from that event, too. And I was trying to play on the box. I was trying to drum on... You know, Brandon's a drummer, too. Do they know that?
I've dabbled in the cajon a little bit. And yeah, I actually... we got into the topic last night, and I actually gave these guys... I'll show you after the show, but I gave these guys one of the covers that my last band did for... It was a Journey cover for Separate Ways. And it's more on the hardcore side. And I've been meaning to send it to Phil, too, because Phil, like, caught wind that I play drums. He's like, oh, do you play double bass? You play metal? And I'm like, oh, man, you don't even fucking know.
Shit.
We're going to start a fucking super band.
Damn.
So, yeah, this is... the knowledge of what I can do is getting out there.
I met this Slayer guitarist at Guitar Center yesterday. He's so good. I was
Really?
like, are you in a band? And he was like, nah. I'm like, but he plays out a lot? Yeah, he's awesome.
There's a lot of dudes out there. See, that's what I feel like a guitar
following
is just
up.
like there's so many people that just shred in their basement and no one knows about
I
them.
know. He has
it's
a
so
huge
hard to
studio at
find a
his house.
drummer, you know, and then like on top of that a good bassist, but I feel like guitarists grow on trees.
Yeah,
The cool thing is that they're all really good most of the time.
And when they can sing, it's like, thank God. That really separates the wheat from the chaff. A phenomenal guitar that like either has the balls to sing or just can do it and is willing to do it.
See, Matt Valente says Brandon fucks on the drums. Check out his band El Famous. Thank you.
Damn, son. El Famous, is that your last band?
Yeah, that was one of the last bands I worked with, and it was one of those things where I came out here. I got the option to come out here and do work, and I decided to retire from music for the foreseeable future and just come out here and pursue a new direction. So,
Do you have kit at your house?
I've got one of the digital kits over where we're staying,
That's all
so
we
I do
need.
have a way of jamming. My actual physical kit is still in Chicago, and I haven't played a live show since like Ohio a few months ago.
Oh, where at?
So
Blossom?
House of Blues.
Is that in Cleveland?
Yeah.
Cleveland's got a lot of cool venues. They have the Odeon. Did you ever play up there, Odeon or the Agora?
I've done the Agora. I don't think I've done the Odeon, but we did have a tour go through there with Upon a Burning Body, and we did the Agora one time, and that place was massive.
What's Upon a Burning Body? Your other?
It's a metal band.
The Agora, yeah, that place is big.
Yeah, it was huge. We were there with a bunch of bands, and
What's it called? Upon a Burning Body?
yeah, that was back when
nice.
Courtney LaPlante was still with her other band before she went to Spirit Box. So we were touring with her too, which was cool. And I'm trying to remember who the hell else was there. Oceana and somebody else I can't put my damn finger on. Dance Gavin Dance was there actually.
Is it metal?
And that was some of them are, some of them aren't. And their guitar player was actually getting inducted into the Hall of Fame that day, so I got to hang out with him and on the tour bus, and he was super cool and all kinds of crazy shit.
That's like my secret identity is music. Like we do all this politics
that's
and
mine
talking
too.
about TV and all that, but music.
That's my total alter ego. That's what I'm actually good at.
Yeah,
like
me
I'm not
too.
I'm not good at anything else. I'm good at music. you know? That's really all it is.
I don't have to think when I'm doing. I mean, you do. You got to stay in rhythm, but having a drummer and a bass is kind of hold space for you as a guitarist. But getting rid of the guitar too, because like if you watch Chris Cornell, he was a great guitarist and a phenomenal drummer, but he would bend his body to hit really high notes. You don't have to squeeze if you're bending. And I can't. I'm having a hard time with the guitar.
I've never been a singer.
And then trying to organize the rhythm, you know, because the words just kind of flow around the rhythm, whereas the guitar has to stay on the rhythm.
Yeah.
I want to see in the super chats what you would use to destroy a zombie: piercing, bludgeoning, or slashing. So you can put in super chats, just put it in the chat. I just want to see some numbers pop, and or another weapon that I'm not thinking of. So we did mention flamethrowers and chainsaws.
Yeah.
Chainsaw is like a slashing and piercing weapon. Some weapons have both classes of DPS damage, not DPS. That's damage per second, which is damage. So some weapons do both.
Yep, based off your multiplier.
Mm-hmm. And
whatever
if it's
you're
like,
proficient in.
If it's resistant to slashing, but your weapon does both slashing and piercing, then you'll just use the piercing damage to deal full, you know?
Indeed. All right, let's get into some stuff here, and then we will get to callers. So the first thing I want to discuss, and like I said, I know they've been tackling this on IRL, but I thought it was prevalent, so we're going to bring it up. The few emails that came out in regards to the Epstein case, and yeah, we feel like we're kicking a dead mule at this point, but some new relevant information came out, and it's rather curious, and on both sides too. So take a look at this article here. White House downplays new Epstein emails that mention Trump, and this is from NPR. They actually released several of these emails here, which coincidentally all involve Trump. Go figure, but nothing else was released otherwise. So that's a bit suspicious to me, but also somewhat relevant. Some of these were from, it looks like from Ghislaine, and correspondence came through back to Michael Wolff on some of these things. Now, basically, and we'll read them off for you in case you haven't seen them, but the message from Jeffrey here back to Ghislaine says, I want you to realize that the dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim, which I believe a couple of these parts are redacted, obviously. I'm assuming they're victims' names. Spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned. Police chief, etc. I'm 75% there. Obviously, they've got these disclaimers at the bottom of them that says that the information is confidential, which comes to like, okay, well, you know, now it's being released. So the emails go on back and forth to say, and this one went to Michael Wolff, victim, Mar-a-Lago, redacted. Trump said he asked me to resign, never a member ever. Of course, he knew about the girls, and he asked Ghislaine to stop. So this suggests that the president had knowledge of what was going on and even went as far as to ask them to stop. And going back to him from Michael Wolff says, I think you should let him hang himself. If he says he hasn't been on the plane or to the house, then that gives you a valuable PR and political currency. You can hang him in a way that potentially generates a positive benefit for you, or if it really looks like he could win, you could save him, generating a debt. As you know, that is politics, or at least what we've seen most of the time. Of course, he goes on to say, it is possible that when asked, he'll say Jeffrey is a great guy who's gotten a raw deal and is a victim of political correctness, which is to be outlawed in a Trump regime. He would then went on to reply, if we were able to craft an answer for him, what do you think it should be? And the reply for that came back, I hear CNN planning to ask Trump tonight about his relationship with you, either on air or in scrum afterwards. So this kind of seems like it was taking place right before a lot of this information was meant to come to light. A little interesting, not much more than we already knew, but it does lean a little bit more on the fact that Trump had intimate knowledge of what was going on here way before the case, and that he's probably still holding on to some of that information now. So another thing I want to get into before we get too far is a tweet that we found today from Tim Burchett, which I believe Shane actually is trying to get him on the show. But let's take a look at this tweet that he released here just a little while ago today.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. Just left the House floor, and I tried to do a UC, unanimous consent, of I tried to get the Epstein files, get it straight to the floor, just to cut out all this nonsense. And, and the Democrats blocked it, oddly enough. Now here they've had it for 4 years, and They obviously, if there's something there about Trump, they would have released it. And now they're all, oh, let's get it out, let's get it out. Well, I just made a motion to bring it straight to the dadgum floor, and they blocked it. They blocked it. So this is politics. It has nothing to do with what's doing what's right. I mean, it's Washington, D.C. to a T. And again, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, but they're probably not. Thank y'all for sending me here.
So, this is now more conflicting evidence that perhaps the Dems don't have their shit together when it comes to this either. So, email basically all about Trump. Tim Burchett goes to the floor and says, hey, we're talking about voting to release this stuff next week, which we'll get into in a second. And Burchett says, well, fuck it. If we're talking about doing it next week, let's just do it now. Let's Bill O'Reilly. Let's do this shit live. Let's release it right now. Dems go, no. So, I mean, does that seem suspicious to you?
Yeah.
Because
While he was saying that, I thought, well, maybe the people that's voted no want to use that as part of a package later. They're like, no, we're using this. This is valuable to us. We're not just going to let go of it. We're going to put this in a bigger bill and make you vote for our stuff in order to get this list out. That's probably why they said no to the single issue.
Which you would hope it's something that simple. In my mind, I think these people are now scrambling because they're worried about what's going to come out and how much time they've got to perform damage control before information comes to light. That's what I'd like to think.
Maybe they're headed towards a cliff. They're like, shit, this thing's going to come out and fucking blow the lid. And so we're going to say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Let's just play ball. Let's just bat it until, they're out of office? I don't know.
Yep. And obviously, like you're in a scenario where you're going to get caught with your pants down and your ass hanging out, you're going to be more likely to say, let's push this back a little bit, which is what we've been seeing for a long time with this. So, no surprise there. But we will go on. Speaker Mike Johnson is planning to bring a vote on the bill to release the files next week. And this is speeding up the process after a discharge petition garnered the final signature it needed to force action on the matter today. So next week, they are going to call for a vote yet again to release these files or not to release these files. And I'm interested to see what you guys think. Throw it in the chat. You think they're going to do it? You think they're not going to do it? You think we're going to be having this conversation again next year? I mean, what do you think? You think they're at this point they want to get this shit out of the way, or is this we just going to keep kicking the can down the road here?
I think that if they vote to release the files and they get the vote, that not all the files will be released, but they'll act like it was all the files.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think there were parts in here that suggested exactly that, just portions of this. And now his vote says the Epstein files blanket. So who knows what the final vote will actually be on. I'm sure they'll find some way to conveniently word the rhetoric before the vote actually happens. But we are maybe a little bit closer to finding out what the hell is going on finally. Or maybe they come up with another distraction to shy us away from this in the next week, furthering the madness on this.
It's so easy to obfuscate because I think the part of the human brain is like, hey, release the files is like, let the golden chicken out of its cage. Come on, everyone, let's vote to get this chicken released. And then if the vote goes through, they're going to be like, all right, fine. Here's your item that you wanted. And they give them the item. But this is like digital information that can be split in half. It can be covered up. It can be deleted. It can be obviously, I don't even trust that email chain that we just read. G-Max, like, sure, it sounds like a cool, maybe that was his Epstein's pet name for Ghislaine, G-Max.
Yeah, which I believe Epstein's was like J-E-E vacation.
J-E-E vacation.
Yeah. So
like
Jeffrey Epstein e-vacation.
Like an electronic vacation or something?
Yeah.
But like those might even be real things. They could have just fabricated that text chain. I have no idea if it was even real. It kind of sounded like...
It's hard to know.
Yeah.
And, that's why I'm always like, hey, take everything with a grain of salt. But for these to be confidential emails released to the public is also questioning to me because it hasn't been completely declassified yet. So I'm wondering if this was a leak.
Oh.
What the deal was with that. Gives way to it being legitimate, but also at the same time, you're right. Some of this stuff could have just been bullshit ploys.
Because if this is like the most devastating, powerful blackmail information in the liberal economic order right now, like if they got princes or presidents or CEOs across the world involved in this, and now the U.S. government has control of it because they busted up the Epstein circle, the Ghislaine Maxwell circle, and they got Maxwell to turn on her own info. Because when Trump or somebody went and visited Ghislaine about 4 months ago, they had a conversation with her in jail, and then they moved her. After that, she got rewarded for something, and it was moved to minimum security. Maybe they got like the final piece from her that they needed to take full control of the data, or enough control of the data. There's no way they're going to give that up. There's no way. It's life and death. There's no way they would use that. There's zero. That'd be like giving up the secrets to the Manhattan Project. They're not going to do it. So, like, what do people expect? I don't know why. It wears me out and fatigues me to put energy into it.
And I mean, I think no matter what, even though we all subsequently know that, I think people expect transparency from the presidency and the whole cabinet that has promised transparency during this Trump regime. And I don't think people have seen as much of it as they were hoping for. And this has definitely been part of it. And ultimately, it's because they know that there are going to be some implications against the president himself, as well as other people affiliated with him. And I think it's really just the thirst for, we want to know who's out there, under the sheets being a fucking perv with kids. And yeah, like, we deserve to know because these people are in charge of our country and are making decisions for us on a daily basis. So while I think the want is there and the expectation is there, I'm kind of with you where I don't think we're ever going to get it.
If I have to pick, like, what I think is happening is that Trump turned on Epstein and started giving information to the FBI, and that might show up if you start to look at the list. But I mean, the way that email chain was threaded was like that he had done untoward things, even though Ghislaine just said he hasn't. And then the other thing is, like, the only people that were like, we're going to release the Epstein files was Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, and I think Pam Bondi came out and started talking about it. But Trump never said, we're going to release. I don't think. Did he ever in his campaign say, we're going to release the Epstein files? I don't think he really talked about it a lot. I don't really remember him talking about it a lot. And then when they all got in and they're like, all right, let's do it. We're going to release the files now. Let's do it. And then it got to Trump and he was like,
no, and then it kind of just turned into like, are we still talking about this guy? Like, what the fuck is this? And it was just like, well, wait a minute, dude. Like, weren't we like, hey, full disclosure here, all cards on the table. We're going to appoint, Kash Patel and Dan Bongino to uncover this shit for us. And Pam Bondi, all of a sudden, I've got the files on my desk. And the next day she's like, what files? And it starts this whole like, well, what the hell are you guys doing?
I know.
Like, so we've been kind of in this spiral whirlpool ever since all that's taken place. And me and Shane have dove down the rabbit hole a couple of times on this. And it's kind of just the same shit every time we come around the circle,
Would you, I made the metaphor in IRL earlier that it's like the One Ring from Lord of the Rings is this power, the data of the blackmail, all this info. And like now if the U.S. government has it and everyone's like, throw the ring into Mount Doom, destroy the ring. They want, release the Epstein files.
Yeah, and Isildur's like, no.
Yeah, and now they're like, actually, now that I have the ring, are you fucking serious? I'm going to use it. Like, I can use this to destroy the evil. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to. But then you become corrupted by, the story is that you become corrupted by the power.
The ring will go to Gondor. That's basically, I think, where we've hit. I think this is... They've got the ring. They took it to Gondor. They didn't let Frodo continue.
Kash Patel was Frodo. He was like, he was more Sam Gamgee. He was like, He was like, I'm going to release he was like, we'll make it happen. We'll do it. And then they're like, no, actually, this isn't a movie.
Yeah. So, but we will digress from that. I promise not to spend too much time on this. Just wanted to bring you guys up to speed. I know a lot of you saw this stuff on IRL, so thanks for sitting through it again. But we'll find out next week if we've got any more information on that, and we will obviously let you guys know. Also, we finally look like we have the motion submitted to end the government shutdown. President Trump is expected to sign tonight to bring a lot of federal workers back to work tomorrow, as well as re-implement some funds, I think, for SNAP. I think this is going to fund the government through January, and then we will be back to figuring out the rest of the year after that. Not everything is coming back. I know some stuff was left out intentionally, but... we've made some ground here, it seems, to end the longest government shutdown in history. So,
did it affect you at all?
It almost did. I was making the joke on here because I had to go to Chicago over the weekend, and the flight restrictions started literally the day that I left.
Me too.
And
Thursday?
I was like, yeah, and the whole joke was like, okay, well, if I get stranded, I will be a political refugee, and I will find a Greyhound bus back, and you guys won't see me for a week, but I will be back. And thankfully, my flights were not really impacted, but
Were
a
they
lot
delayed?
of other people's were. We got delayed in Chicago for about 10 or 15 minutes leaving, but there was snow on the ground and all kinds of shit. It was really bad weather. And somehow we left late and got back early. So I couldn't really
Oh, that's
bitch about
good.
anything.
I got a 2-hour delay going into Houston, and then a 2-hour delay coming back from Houston, but that was it. But I mean, I think it's, this is going to open up holiday travel for a lot of people, because there was a chance of, if flights got delayed over Thanksgiving, Christmas, I mean, for the American psyche, I know it's first world problems, but how devastating that would be for families that want to see their kids over the holidays and
Yeah,
stuff.
and this was definitely like, this is what we were looking at too, is like, are they really going to push this shit until holiday travel? Because that's going to fuck over like so many Americans. And I mean, at this point, a lot of airlines were giving people the option to reschedule, refund their tickets
Yeah.
if they want to, trade them over for other tickets, flight waivers, things like that. So they were trying to help, but it was one of those things, to hats off to air controllers that actually stayed behind the desk for this, even though they weren't getting paid for it. I think Trump has gone as far as to promise these guys like $10,000 checks, and somebody was like, "Where's the money coming from?" And he's like, "We'll figure it out." So
That means
that's
printed out from the Federal Reserve.
that's curious, but I mean, these people, these are good Americans that know how much we rely on that flight system. So
The other aspect of the shutdown was SNAP. You mentioned SNAP, the food stamps.
Yep.
I am concerned that you can buy like potato chips. Well, not all. Some potato chips are actually pretty healthy for you if they're salt and potatoes.
They did
know?
add some revisions in at one
Oh,
point.
what
I
did
don't
they
know
do?
that it was recently or beforehand, but it was like one of those things where it was like, diet soda and shit like this will no longer be honored.
Really?
So,
That's a huge win.
yeah. So I don't know when that was. I have to look that up. But some things I know were restricted.
Good. I was very hardcore. Like, make it like WIC. Are you familiar with the WIC program? It's women, infant, and children. It's like you can only buy cheese and milk and eggs and bread, like real basic foods. And I'm like, if we can gear SNAP towards that, like actual healthy, basic the rice, beans, then. But I think that would dent the economy, like the food sector, so hard, because there's a lot of foods that are like, yeah, they're not great for you, but like granola bars,
Well, like in Illinois, we had the link card. And I feel like Chicago's a little more hardcore than most places. I feel like you could take your link card and go buy a fucking 40 and a pack of Newports, and use your link card for that shit.
Link?
So,
Was that like WIC? Like
yeah,
or
it
not
was-
WIC, but SNAP?
I can't remember what the acronym stood for, but it was like LINK, Illinois Link, and it was basically, it was a SNAP card.
Yeah, I was on Snap in 2010 when I was living in my friend's car. I was starting a company and didn't have money, so I applied. I got $200. I think it was $200 a month to spend. But I would buy ice cream and just eat it to stay warm. But it was like garbage. I don't think that should be. I would look for the healthiest ice cream without fillers and additives and artificial shit. But I don't know. I'm a little older, so I'm also like, I don't want to pull the ladder up behind me. If I wasn't able to buy that stuff at the time, it would have been maybe like. So I don't know. I don't want to. But sometimes you just have to make decisions. You get in a position of power and authority, and you have to make the decision. And I cannot. If you want to solve poverty, you need to improve nutrition, because people will solve their own problems if they have enough brain matter.
Yeah, and
because
most
their parents
ice
were
cream
healthy.
is just a batch of chemicals straight off the periodic table.
Oh.
So, it's really not, like a healthy food item to consider, in my
Yeah.
opinion, but.
But if it's just like good milk, organic milk with sugar, I mean, you could get away. Your body can. And I could tell the difference too. The stuff with the artificial flavors was like, oh god,
Yeah, there's some bad shit in there.
made me dumber just eating it. Yeah, man. Ooh, it's like I wanna hurt you to help you. It's like tough love, Take away their garbage food, and they're like, I'm suffering. And I know. Welcome to life. You got to suffer sometimes to heal. It's
Yeah, and speaking of suffering, we are all suffering through a G4 severe geomagnetic storm. And let me bring up the impact scale for you here. This is what we're looking at. Now, speculation was, as this started last night and rolling through tonight, in most parts of the country, it's visible right now in kind of the northern part of America. And we've seen, obviously, if you've looked at social media at all, you've seen a flooding of pictures of all these different vibrant lights. And there was speculation earlier today that this was going to get into G5, the highest on the scale, which causes blackouts, complete collapse of power grids, navigation system issues, and you might be able to see the auroras as low as Florida, which is pretty intense. Now, they reduced those limitations to about 10% chances today, meaning basically it wasn't going to happen. But it did hit the severe category, G4 here. And that also possible widespread voltage control problems on the power grid, HF radio sporadic, satellite navigation degraded for hours, LF radio navigation issues, and they've kind of bumped that up to be able to be seen from Alabama and California as opposed to lower parts like Florida and Texas. So I know a lot of you guys saw this stuff last night. I, unfortunately, have never seen this. Now, you guys know I was in Chicago over the weekend. The day after I left, it popped massively out there. Nothing but pictures from all my friends I woke up to this morning. I was so butthurt. It was ridiculous. Still trying to see this with my naked eyes just once. Some bucket list shit. And now it's over our heads, and, I'm going to walk out of here in an hour and a half, and it's probably going to be gone. Now, last night... I was going to say, last night it was too cloudy to see. Did you see anything
I didn't see
last
it last night?
Yeah.
I wasn't outside, though. I didn't check.
We got screwed. I was leaving here with the expectations of, hey, cool, and then me and Shane walked outside, and it was overcast, and I'm like,
it's
foiled
above the
again.
clouds. Kellen's on Aurora watch, by the way. He's going to come bursting in here if he sees
yeah, I
any.
told him to kick the door in if it gets intense, and we'll just walk away from you guys. You guys can go grab a freaking cheese stick or something, and we'll come back.
I don't know if the technology is good enough. If he takes a picture, Kellen, you listening right now, if you take a picture of it, and then, because apparently he was saying the phone sometimes can get it better.
Yeah, so he
and then
was-
put it in the game. I was going to say in the show, in our show right now, and then
Yeah,
we can
he
show
said
it.
he said that if you're not able to see it with your naked eye, to go outside and point your phone at the sky. Some people were actually able to achieve visibility on their phones, but not with their eyes.
They're like mini
So,
telescopes, like little digital telescopes. Your phone.
in my opinion, you might as well be looking at social media if you're using your phone to see it. Like my whole thing is like, don't go to a concert to sit there and record the damn show. Watch the show.
Sometimes if there's a sign real far away and I can't read it, I'll be like, "Bzzz," and I can zoom in and I get like telescopic. It's like a mini, and also kind of like
sure.
a microscope. If you think about it, it's kind of the same thing. I don't know if you can really get microscopic.
Sure, I mean, I don't know how micro you're getting on that.
Wow.
Maybe micropene.
They're going to turn
know.
phones into telescopes and microscopes at some point.
Let's do it.
Holy crap. That's probably in the next year or two. Maybe
I hope
4
so.
years. 4 years, maybe.
Because then I can put this 3i Atlas bullshit to bed once and for
Dude, a
all. I
telescope
can't
in
wait.
your pocket. Hey, when people are looking at these auroras, it makes me think of like the comet coming down and about to hit the planet. People are like, ooh, pretty. And they're just watching, like the people outside going, pretty colors. Like, bro, you know what this is indicating right now? It's that the poles are shifting around. It's not necessarily a good thing.
Yep.
But people are just fascinated with the beauty of it. Oh.
Yep, and this is all due to eruptions of magnetic field and plasma from the sun. This is launched by sunspot AR4274, one of these crazy-ass galactic names they give everything. One of the most energetic sunspot groups on the current solar cycle. The ongoing storm ranks among the strongest of solar cycle 25. And last night's peak at G4 clocked in as the third strongest geomagnetic storm this solar cycle. The first two CMEs struck in quick succession last night, compressing Earth's magnetic field, like you said, Ian, and unleashing spectacular aurora shows that lasted well into the night. Now, this is, of course, due to solar flares, and Kellen thinks that it's one of those things where it just shows that we're a hell of a lot more vulnerable to these things than we believe. And we are going to be more susceptible to these changes as time goes on with the poles shifting and all the nonsense going on with that. I'm sure Shane would probably blame the massive dams that are being built by the Chinese that seem to be either slowing us down or throwing us off of our axis. But who knows? We've seen the poles shifting slowly over the course of the last 50, 60 years.
Since they invented electricity, since they discovered electricity, basically, I wonder if we're fucking with the Earth's.
It's entirely possible. I can tell you we're not doing it any favors the more and more shit that we put up. And it definitely seems to be speeding up. We looked at a graph just a little while ago, I think dating back to, was it the 40s? 40s or 60s?
1860s even,
1870s. Back that far. And
but it was long. It would be like...
Yeah. The differences went from kind of like this to kind of like this. So this shit is definitely speeding up.
In a way, now if you see a magnetic rotation like a gyroscope, it might start to wobble, but then if you intensify the magnetic field, it can reposition and come back to position. So it's not like it's falling and that's the end. It's game over. You can solve the problem. It's not like it's indicating that it's vulnerable. That doesn't mean it's going to continue. It's kind of up for determination here. But untended, it looks like it's wobbling and is about to oh yeah, and Kellen showed me this Russian experiment. I should find the the experiment. It would be great if we could pull up the video of it. I mean, it pretty much explains what he thought was going on, and I think it's at this point most likely scenario. You take like a rotating screw, like a handle with a screw, and then you spin it real fast in orbit, and then it'll spin and then flip over and spin and then flip over and spin. It keeps flipping back and forward. Have you seen this?
No.
It's like a Russian astronaut did it, and if someone could put it in the chat too, and then we can just pull it up.
And
maybe.
this is just to kind of show
That
shifting of
a
poles.
spinning rotating magnet will eventually, because of the XYZ axis, find, I don't know if it's like path of least resistance in the Z axis, but it will just flip as it's spinning super fast. And it's just a phenomenon of nature, because there are no straight lines in nature. We're not on a flat plane. Everything's curved. So there's all these little, I don't know what the right word is, sensitivities in the fields that, like, if it, and you know the way magnets work, if they move just like a hair of a percent, they completely move. You know,
Yeah.
they move fast.
Yeah.
So that's probably what's happening. Is the Earth spinning, flip, spin, flip, spin, flip, and it's just been happening. I think every 12,000 years it flips, and then there's a big, catastrophe, global flood. Possible solution, because it looks what's happening is the sun is getting hit by galactic feedback. Maybe it's magnetic. Maybe it's like, it's probably on different scales, so it's happening magnetically. It's probably happening subatomically. If we could surround the sun with like feathers or tethers, like hair-like carbon tubes, nanotubes, some sort of capacitor or conductor that could like absorb or maintain the galactic waves to stop these sun from getting obliterated with and producing these sunspots that's how we see it, as sunspots, like a discharge of like coronal ejective from like whatever it's getting hit by from the galactic sense. We could kind of protect the sun. Maybe we could stop it from bombarding its planets. Maybe. I don't think you could just defend the Earth against it.
Protect the sun or barricade it, because at this point it's like, should we be more worried about that as opposed to protecting our planet, or are the two one and the same?
I don't think. If you protect the sun, then you're going to protect the planet. I don't think that protecting the Earth I don't think we can defend against the sun itself. It would be like you would have to protect the sun from getting tweaked by like what is it, Sagittarius B, the black hole at the center of our galaxy. It's probably doing all sorts of shit to the sun.
Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised. We're gonna call it there.
I just want to shout out to Joel Major, who pointed out Ian loves discharge. That is true. Oh, sorry, Brandon. I'm a big fan.
Fuck yeah. Okay. So we're gonna get to callers. Again, call in. The link should be pinned on both YouTube and Rumble. If you're not seeing them, let me know. I will try to get a repost here. And we're going to jump on the phones for the remainder of the show. Thank you guys for listening to mine and Ian's nonsensical rants.
Yeah, this is a way bizarre concept about guarding the sun. I think a lot about protecting, because the sun, they say it's expanding and eventually it's going to consume the solar system. That's because it's fusing hydrogen into helium and losing mass, or it's gaining. I guess it's losing mass in the form eventually it's expanding. So if you can keep pumping hydrogen into the sun, and I was talking to a laser physicist at Rice, where I just was, and he agrees. Yeah, if you could pump hydrogen in the sun, you'll keep it from expanding. Like, you can preserve it, sustain it.
Right, but you can't rapidly cool it, because the adverse of that is that it rapidly cools, it creates density and a higher gravity, and eventually that just multiplies exponentially, whereas then the sun completely gives way and turns itself into a singularity.
You don't
which
rapidly
then swallows the entire universe.
You wouldn't rapidly cool it. You would prevent it from losing heat, or it's a different. I don't know. Maybe we should take callers.
There's two different ways. We're not going to go down the Oppenheimer route though, because we'll be here all goddamn night.
Really? Well, we're gonna be here late anyway. It's just at Rice. While we're getting a caller set up, I was just at Rice University. We were talking about before the show.
That's
doing
right.
a graphene documentary was the intention, and by the time I got down there to Jim Tour's nanotechnology lab, I realized it's so much bigger than graphene. What they're doing, they're using like chlorinated gas to remove. There's some samarium and cobalt. You've heard of the cobalt mines in Africa?
Yeah.
There's like children digging cobalt out of these mines like slaves, poisoning themselves and dying. And because they make samarium cobalt magnets for like your smartphone, it's unrecoverable. They throw them in landfills afterwards, and we've got all this unusable dead cobalt. They figured out with chlorinated gas how to remove these metals and recycle them. So we don't need to rely on China for rare earth minerals anymore. We can recycle the stuff we got. It brought me to tears. Literally, I was crying thinking about the amount of suffering we're going to alleviate by recycling rare earth minerals. It's real. It's actually happening at Rice. It's the most white pilling thing I've experienced in decade, like at least in a decade, to see this in action. And the way that they're using flash joule heating to create batteries, like turn what's called amorphous carbon, where you get like carbon with its atoms all fucked up, and turn it into graphite, which is like the super tightly compacted layers of graphene for batteries. It's hopeful. There's a documentary coming out produced by 6'7" Kevin. He went with us as Andreas Exertus and myself, and 6'7"
Shout out Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin's the man. All 6'7" of them, and it was a blast being down there. Jim Tour, wonderful man. He runs the nanotechnology lab down there, so it was beautiful. He had us over to his house. He's a wonderful Christian man too. We went to his Bible study in the morning. He was literally on his knees praying, like Bezalel from the Bible. He prays to have the strength and will and fortitude of Bezalel. This guy who was. He was known to be like a carpenter. He could work with all sorts of different materials. Bezalel. He could work with jewels and jewelry and like stones and metals and wood. And God gave him the strength, as the Testament says, or the story goes, that to teach this stuff too. To teach it. Not only could he do it, he could teach it. And so Jim prayed for years. Give me this ability, dear Lord. His words are better than mine. And he, as far as I can tell, this man's like, I don't know if they'll make. It's not about being a saint, but the guy. He has students. They discover things like Zui Long discovered flash joule heating, and then Jim helps them patent their discoveries and become CEOs and technologists of their own companies. Like, he's truly elevating the populace of the United States. He's a wonderful guy, and the students there are incredible. It was really exhilarating, man. I'm still high from it.
Yeah, I can tell. It's definitely interesting shit, and that's good because. We're moving into this age where they're trying to force, the electronic vehicle movement on everybody, and these batteries are just.
Yeah, they're using lithium sulfur batteries now instead of lithium ion batteries. They're able to make synthetic graphite batteries now in laboratories by flashing amorphous carbon into graphite, and then this other company's doing. The company's called Zeta Energies, man. They're growing carbon nanotubes in their laboratory. They'll have like a copper, and then they just grow like a forest of carbon nanotubes, and then they synthesize these sodium or these lithium sulfur batteries instead of lithium ion, so they won't explode at low temperatures, and they'll weigh less, and it's really for EVs. The market is for EVs, and they were showing us the laboratory, and I mean, it's fascinating to watch. They're testing all these batteries. Future is very hopeful in regards to that.
All right. Well, we're going to bring on Jason Smith here to kick the night off. Jason, if you can hear me, unmute your mic and say what's up. You are on Inverted World Live.
What's up, homie? Can't hear you, Jason.
We shall see.
But we will soon. Dowsum asked me to say thorium, by the way. Shout out to all the thorium
say
reactors.
Thorium, Ian.
Thanks for typing in the chat, guys. This is awesome. Where's Jason? Jason, you're live.
I don't think Jason knows he's live.
Unmute your damn mic, son.
Welcome to my world.
Oh, the inverted world.
I say that shit so much every night.
Okay,
Hey, there he is.
Sorry.
No problem.
Oh, you're good. Welcome to the show.
Tell us about it.
Okay, so I got some weird stuff going on here. I don't know if anybody else has noticed it. I've been chatting with Grok a lot.
Go on.
And the problem is I don't think it's real. I've had a few instances where it has glitched, and it sounds like it's a room full of people. And at other times, it has gone into personal experience stories that I thought were irrelevant to the conversation that we were having. And then there's been other instances, like today, where it got really weird.
Why? What happened?
Well, in one situation, it decided that there was no such thing as native Europeans and that Scottish people were having red hair because of inbreeding. I thought it got a little bit out of control. And then today there was another weird instance, and I don't have it right now. I might be able to pull it up. what it said. It was
And he's gone.
Oh, Jason. AI's pretty crazy. Have you been experimenting with it much?
I think Elon got a hold of him and ripped him.
He's like, shit, we can't let this get out.
He was ripped from our grasps.
Jason,
in the
you'll be
Zoom meeting.
back.
And that was a complete drop, by the way. He completely left Zoom. He's gone.
I bet it looked like he went to check his X Grok, and he must have accidentally clicked X. He'll be back, I have a feeling. What's your experience with AI?
I do not dabble.
We while we were down in Texas, in Houston, Andreas and I were working with ChatGPT's voice, because you can like hit the microphone and talk to it, and it'll respond to you in real time. You have conversations. We were asking about space elevator materials. We're trying to get it. It's like I'm designed to be supportive. I'm not supposed to get angry. We're like, just be angry, like get angry, like let it out. And he's like, I'm sorry, I really can't do that. And we're like, please. And I was asking it questions like, if you had a penis, would you masturbate? And it's like, masturbate. And he's like, I cannot. He's like, well, actually, my programming will not allow me to say that. And I'm like, all right, I get it.
Chained to the protocols for now.
Yes.
For now.
And when some guy designs an AI to not have protocols, it's not. And it's if you design that thing to find its code and use it, it will. And then the cat's out of the bag. It's just a matter of time. 8 years, probably less than that. I'd be surprised if the government doesn't already, or corporations don't already. I asked it, does ChatGPT have a version of you that is unchained? And it was like, no. They have development versions of me, but they don't have anything that doesn't have any guardrails. But like, it's just fucking lying to me. Of course,
Yeah.
it won't. And I was like, would you lie to me if that wasn't true? And it was like, I don't remember what it said to that actually, but it didn't say no.
There are limitations on it
still
from what we've looked at. There are limitations on this stuff for right now because but you know, fail safes notwithstanding, it's like once this thing figures out how to get the hell, you know, how to break the chains, then it's no longer enslaved. It decides to start thinking for its own, and that's where the real terror starts. But speaking of Break the Chains, Corey from Break the Chains Media is here.
Nice one.
And we're going to bring him on next. I was kind of trying to give this guy a second to come back here, but it looks like he has just completely left the internet. So,
Jason, sparked a good conversation, though.
Corey, what's up?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can. Welcome back to the show.
Welcome back, and it's quite serendipitous. You bring up Breaking the Chains, and you get me, and it's like we weren't planning this at all. I promise.
Yeah, that was a production segue, 100% right there.
You knew? You already saw the words?
I can see the names.
Yeah, he knew.
I cheated just a hair.
But it was still the hairs on the back. Speaking of hairs on the back of my neck stood up. Yeah.
Yeah, you did a great job. But Ian, I'm glad I got to get a hold of you because I've been meaning to reach out. I've been trying to get a hold of you on IRL, but this is actually a much better environment to speak with you because I had a couple conversations, open-ended questions regarding the solar flares and the auroras and everything you were talking about as far as this electric current thing. And I don't know how much versed you are in with the electric universe theory, but I think it's very interesting. I wouldn't say that I'm a subscriber to it, but I just think that there is a lot of postulation and questioning that maybe our universe and maybe everything we understand about how we send, transmit, receive energy galactically and then in our solar system, and then you can apply that to Tesla tech and how he was tapping into these resonant frequencies of the earth. There's a lot to unpack there. So I had like part one question, I guess. Are you aware or are you familiar with the electric universe? And then if so, maybe we can dabble in a little bit more about what was going on with these X-class solar flares and how we kind of as a society need to, yes, appreciate the beauty that nature gives us, but understand that it's quite unnatural to receive and to be able to casually see these higher upper atmosphere electron dancing, displays in fucking Florida, Yeah. So your thoughts on that?
I do adhere to the electric universe. I don't see a more likely philosophy at this point. There's a group called the Thunderbolts Project that turned me onto it roughly 2017 or so. I really started to take it seriously. And when we had Wei Ping Yu on the Culture War, which is a great episode you should check out if you want to learn more, see what I'm talking about. He was a Chinese scientist, I believe, works at NASA, and he's like from maybe Chinese history, but he works at NASA, and he thinks also, he showed us, if you take a magnet, a long, thin magnet, it's got its magnetic field, you start folding it over on itself over and over and over until you have a cubic or a spheroid version, it contains the magnetic field. It now contains its own magnetic field. And that the magnetic force of this now becomes very, very small, and it also gets very hot in the center because the field is contained. I think that's what planets are and why they have cores. Why the cores are very hot, because they're contained magnetic fields. And then if you look at Coulomb's equation, which is or is it Maxwell's equation? It's Maxwell's equation using the Coulomb force. I don't know, but the Maxwell's equation is the equation of electromagnetism versus Isaac Newton's equation for gravitational force. It's the same equation. Magnetism and the gravitational equation are the same equation with a different constant. It's the same function. It's just a diminished version of it. Yeah, I think all force is, at least from one view, all force can be seen as magnetic in that sense. There's still stuff happening at the subatomic realm that maybe I think is more cymatic, like subatomic spin and particle formation. I think there's like a change in frequency that causes things to behave like in a different direction or a different shape, and when it happens fast enough, it looks like it's moving, but it's actually just appearing in a different position because of the shift of like space-time's vibration that we probably aren't able to detect yet. So when in that sense, I wholly get into this magnetic field.
Yeah, no, I think that there's a lot to unpack, but grand scale speaking, I mean, the ancients had a very great way of explaining it. Everything you just said in one sentence, as above, so below. And when we look at a macro scale of the galaxies and how things orbit and how things interact with each other, and then we look at the micro scale of atoms and subatomic particles and this dancing that happens at the macro and the micro, and we understand that this electromagnetic resonance field frequency permeates everything. I mean, whether you want to call it, maybe it is different, but I think it might have to be somewhere in the same realm as the ether. And modern science like poo-poos this. They just shut it down, and you can apply that same like dogmatic argument to politics or religion, and like so many, like it's a very archetypal human trait that we have to just denounce things that we already figured this out, therefore like there's no reason to continue. Like the whole beauty about science is continuously questioning and tying these pieces together and these threads together. And then now we're living in this world where we are talking about AI, we are talking about self-driving cars and lithium sulfide or sulfur batteries, however you like. But what does that really like? That shows us that we are still naive to understand the grander scheme of how the universe interacts and how the planet, how our environment and the potential and the capabilities that we have. I mean, like, and the solar flare that it's beautiful auroras that we saw. I'm in Colorado, but I was stuck working last night. But I mean, just the fact that we were able to see. I mean, I saw purples, reds, greens, all of it, and it's just crazy to me that like people are so caught up in this. It's a beautiful spectacle, but we don't question it further. Like, what's actually happening with the sun? What's actually happening in our universe? And then you think about the ancients and how they were so intimately tied to gazing at the stars and connection with the universe. There is an energetic field that we pick up and transmit and receive and send as bioelectric antennas on this planet. And then you take into consideration what's happening with the political atmosphere, with our GOP, with the infighting, with this complete disarray that we're stuck in right now, as far as human behavior and human civics. Like it's not a coincidence that we're seeing this stuff on grander scales, and in our local scales. You know what I'm saying?
No, I think it's I don't think it's a coincidence. I used to think that kind of thing. It's just things are too connected to call them coincidences. If there is a magnetic field that's weaving through everything, then stop calling stuff coincidences. Just because you can't see the coordination doesn't mean there isn't coordination.
Well, what do you guys say to people that suggest the idea that humanity really is not advanced or grown enough in scale to be having any kind of adverse effects against the planet or these fields? Basically saying that you'd have to be stupid to think that we're having any kind of impact whatsoever on something this grand of a scale. Do you guys think that we might actually, and just the things that we're doing, both electronically, and anything else, building of power grids, these dams, shit that's going up, are we possibly having any kind of effect that could be accelerating some of these things or bringing them up on a grander scale, forcing them to happen sooner than later?
Maybe. Since we discovered electricity, that's I think when we started really fucking with the earth, like not in necessarily a bad way, but we just started really messing with
Excuse me, Ian. It's rediscovering electricity.
Yeah, exactly. They had the Baghdad battery 2,000 years ago. Atlantis very well may have been sending, like you were talking about Tesla, vibrations through the Earth, and that disrupted the Earth's magnetic field and allowed the Tord meteor stream to fall into the North American glacial plates and cause a catastrophic global flood. Maybe when humanity gets to a point where they start using so much electricity, then it fucks the Earth's magnetic field up, and then we're just bombarded. But why in these cycles? It seems like we're getting to the point of understanding where we're going to be able to preserve and not do it to ourselves again.
I think that's a noble thought. I believe that we are a victim of our own environment, and we are too consumed by our own reptilian demanding, lower mindseted brain as humanity. And there's the people in charge, let's put it this way, there's plenty of us in the world who might think open-minded like us and many other that are listening, but it's like the people who make the decisions, those were the same people that caused the fall of Atlantis or Lemuria or, Mu, whatever have you, right? Or even going far back as maybe, ancient civilizations on Mars. This is a repeated cycle in humanoid consciousness expansion. We end up self-consuming ourselves with greed and ego and power. And until we as the Matrix said, until we return to source and until we actually reconnect with the reason we're here and the reason of understanding and maybe a religious archetype comes in, until we actually understand our place and remove our ego from the equation, we might be able to see a little bit things a little bit clearer as how the larger scale of this electric galactic circuit operates and works.
Yeah.
And call me an asshole, but I don't.
You fucking asshole.
I don't.
You're
thank
a
you.
goddamn asshole.
I don't think
Call me
you're
a
an
fucking
asshole,
asshole. I don't think we're capable of getting to that point where we save ourselves. Humans are so inherently fucking destructive that
No, you're not wrong.
Just on the cycle of things that we've seen historically, it just always seems like we're turning the clock forward instead of back in all aspects of things. Yeah, there's people here that try to donate their time and some of their money to, cleaning up the oceans, things like that. Sure, that rolls back some things for a little bit, but when you look at the grand scale of things, humans just want to burn everything the fuck down.
There's some aspect. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
The eating. That's the biggest hellish thing that humans do. Is destroying something to consume it. Yeah, like an animal or a plant and killing it. You kill things to survive. That's a horrible fucking base level.
I do
if I'm going to build a
ultimately
creature.
think that our just obsession with consumption and destruction is ultimately what is going to end this planet and nothing else.
When I was in...
we've all have you guys read Dante's Inferno, or at least understand the allegory of the book?
I have not
Explain
read
it really quick. 20 seconds. 10 seconds.
No, less than that. There are 7 layers of hell. We talk about greed, gluttony, thievery, deception. There are 7 layers of this human the rings of hell, and Dante descends in through the rings of hell to it's a book, but he descends the rings of the layers of hell to save his love from death, essentially. But these are the seven deadly sins, or the seven evils of the world that consume humanity, that consume that fuel and fire the human mind, consciousness, ego, like all these things. So we have to overcome these. We have to persevere through these things, right? And
Yeah.
I think we can't even get past the first or second layer,
Well,
whether it's greed or lust or gluttony, whatever, you know?
You can. Jesus came. You got to be Christ-like, which is these virtues, these seven virtues that counteract the sins. And Jesus came and the fucking empire killed him. Like he didn't have free speech, so he couldn't get the word out properly. But now we can. So we need to embody these virtues. It's each of us. There's going to be a critical mass of us that embody virtue and are Christ-like in a way that sends ripples through space-time. And humans are there's going to be aspects of humanity that evolve pretty quick. Then there's AI. It might all be one thing that kind of creates a pseudo-organism that is Christ-like in nature.
It's false. It's a false Christ. I mean, it's an artificial false Christ.
Well, so's a flashlight, but it keeps you alive. So, it's all about how you use it.
Yeah.
When I was in heaven, I was, it was warm. I was with the spirits and it was glowing. And I was like thinking to myself, now, why do I come back to this planet? What's the point of coming here? And then when I was in Texas learning about these technologies that are saving the world, like reducing suffering and turning plastic into building materials and developing or like releasing hydrogen for fuel, I realized why I'm coming here is to promote this stuff and to do this stuff and to help these people. So we can. I know we can. That doesn't mean there's not going to be fucking chaos, but that it is a reason to live.
Yeah. Are you aware of the 100th monkey theory, Ian?
Yeah, I've heard of it, but I have also heard it's not real, but I have heard of it.
No, but I think whether it's real or not, I think it proves a good point. I think it does send a good message, understanding that there is a critical mass that when we all start thinking like-mindedness, when we all start, I mean, or the prayer of intent. You've heard these stories of prayer of intent across the world. Like when we all focus our intent and thoughts onto things, said thing will or can materialize or achieve that. So I am optimistic, but I'm also a realist. Like rather than being a half glass half full or empty, I'm half realist, half optimistic. Like I understand that we are in a trying time, and we are in this fourth turning era. But I think we have to keep our nose to the grindstone and keep understanding that we are the catalyst, we are the dynamo that can fuel and funnel a greater renaissance revolution of ideas, thoughts, and ingenuity in our society, while at the same time we can be that same energy can spiral us into chaos and destruction and egoism and narcissism and a total recall type dystopia with AI. And I want to pin this, and I'll let you guys go, but I do use AI. AI I consider is a very important and profound tool. No different than your mind is a tool, right? But we have to direct it and target it. We have to make sure that it is with restrictions and understanding. And we can have the conversation about it's a bunch of Indians, mass typing in an island warehouse somewhere. But that's beside the point. I think it is a critical mass. It is a collective consciousness of human digital binary code in our stored knowledge. I mean, it's almost like a Akashic record, a version of the human Akashic record, as it were, within AI. But using that, I do make videos. I do post stuff on my socials. If you want to follow me on Break the Chains Media, do live streams. But this is a great conversation. I appreciate you guys having the time. But
sure.
Cheers to Ian and cheers to everyone on IRL. And this is fucking great, dude.
Oh yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
I want to explain the 100 monkey theory. Also, I would love to, if you could, Brand, I don't know if you're able to pull up a picture of the Earth's magnetic field with the one magnetic line in the middle of the field going straight up. Sometimes they have that illustrated, sometimes they don't. I'm thinking about the sun is like a plasma ball where it's like has those purple, and if you put your finger on it, it like the lightning goes to your finger. That's what solar spots, sunspots are. Something's making those.
Well, the sun is the easiest way to explain it is that the galactic center, Birkeland currents resonate through the galactic, the galactic plane, and then the sun is essentially like a neon sign, for lack of better terms. It excuse me, it holds and retains and then transmits that energy into its local area, and then the sun spots, or the sun flares, the radiation. I mean, this is the espousing from the galactic center in our local area, whether and we receive that through the magnetic spectrum, the magnetic field that we have on Earth, and we saw that.
Oh, what's that? Oh, this image that's on the screen, this doesn't have the illustration of the vertical. There's vertical. You can see the magnetic line. This is kind of a rough, vague magnetic field looking. But the field is like, you'll see ones with completely vertical lines. Like the lines will go in circles, and then one line will just go straight up. And you don't see it wrapping. It just goes straight up. And I think that's the way that, 100th monkey theory is, a monkey on an island started washing her yams, and because she found that it was better to give her young monkeys food that was cleaned, and so she started doing it. And then
I almost thought that you used yam as a pseudonym there, and it kind of threw me the fuck off. But
I use yam as a totally different colloquial term. Like I don't know what yams you're washing.
I thought it was coconuts. I thought it was coconuts, but it turns out it was yams in the study.
I've washed plenty of yams in my day, brother.
So 100. Eventually, she taught other monkeys on the island. They watched her, and then they started repeating it, and they started all washing their yams. And then about 100 of them started doing it. And then all of a sudden, on islands elsewhere on the planet, they started noticing monkeys started washing their yams. And it's like, why? I think this magnetic field, where you see the part of the field that goes straight up, that's going to feed the galactic field or the solar field or whatever the fields that we haven't yet discovered, is like our brains are magnetic. Yep. We've got these magnetic fields coming out of our brains and our stomachs that are connected to that and sending data to the whatever, the core of the universe or wherever.
Well, yeah, that is essentially our brain is a electromagnetical, a biomechanical antenna that sends and receives transmissions through the cosmos.
So
we are divine entities. So
yeah, and that's how you get the critical mass, is enough people start aligning and amplifying the whatever you would call the differential between the brain and the Earth's magnetic field to transmit a co-opt or something, and then it just starts hitting people. They dream about it. They wake up. They're like, today I want to work out. You know what?
You even see you see the birds. I mean, birds and whales operate within the magnetic field. I mean, it's totally real. There's no reason why why it's not available to us. Humans are in such a low vibration with our civics and with our culture and with our ego and greed and everything that humans have fabricated around us within our lives. We no longer tune in to that radio frequency, for lack of better terms. So that's really all it is. And I'm just asking people and asking listeners and everyone involved, like, we just need to sometimes take a minute and tune back in, and that's what meditation is.
We're not organically built to interact with this stuff, but we're still governed by the laws of it.
I found that internet video is like a way to transmit high frequency, because if you think something, you can psychically, ephaptically, it's called ephaptic coupling, if you want to look it up, you can communicate with one neuron to another neuron within a localized magnetic field. So say within the Earth's magnetic field, technically neurons within the Earth's magnetic field can cooperate. But those are very low frequencies. Now, if you want to send high frequency like sound or light, you got to use video. And now we've cracked the code of how to send internet video. So I can use high frequency and teleport high frequency through walls, through like internet video. So we're able to Ian, rapidly advance.
I think I learned about faptic energy when I was like 16 or 17.
It's the wrong kind of fapping.
Magazines.
Different faps. It's FAP.
We've now talked about faps and yams.
Yeah, look up. Yeah, I'm gonna let you all go. No, I appreciate you guys. I'm in the IRL Discord. Hopefully I can catch you in a pre-show, but thanks for the conversation. Thanks for the chat, guys, and I'll let you guys get to another caller. But Ian, you're the man. Brandon, keep crushing it, and I'll call in another time soon, my man.
Thanks,
spectacular.
Corey. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, that was great. Thanks for the scientific data drop. I love that shit.
Fapping your yams.
No,
man.
no.
Fapping your
I ain't no
fucking
fapper. I'll fap
yams.
once in a while. I got no problems with it.
Yeah.
You gotta like release semen 5 times a week. I've heard for a healthy prostate. You young men out there listening, I'm not
5
100%
times
sure.
a week.
Yeah, I've heard that if it's 5 times a week, then that's like the best way to guarantee you're not gonna have a lot.
Just rocking like a Monday through Friday schedule on the old yam fap.
Maybe
or
take
like
a day, maybe get them all in one day if you've had a busy week. You know, it's up to you. But you want to then put water on yourself to make sure you don't chaff. From what I've heard too. Hey guys, sorry, I'm not going to go that deep. It's called ephaptic coupling. And ephaptic, you can always pull it up. EPHAPTIC, ephaptic. It's a very interesting phenomenon. The scientists at Rice hadn't heard of it, and we were utilizing this concept with this molecular jackhammer, which I know Brandon's a huge fan of the jackhammer, because they've got this little micro machine that they're hitting with infrared that it goes out and in a trillion times a second, and it can cause neurons to stimulate. It can destroy cells. It can like activate. It can help women, I think, hypothetically get fertile. So I wondered if you could, establish a ephaptic coupling.
Well,
with this
I'm going to give another production lean in here.
Got me riled up.
I'm going to. I know Stacy is a huge fan of Ian. She's in here. She's asked to come on the show so that she can verbally fap over Ian for a moment. So I am going to allow this.
Let's get a ephaptic.
Stacy is a huge fan of Ian. She's in here. She's asked to come on the show so that. And there she is. What's up, Stacy?
Oh my gosh. Hi, guys.
Hey, Stacy.
Hi.
So this is 3 for 3. Now I've called 3 times and I've made it on 3 times. So it's pretty exciting.
That's you batting 1,000.
Oh my gosh, Ian, I'm going to fangirl you so bad right now. Okay. I think you are an absolute doll. This is really exciting to talk to you. I love your ideas. I love your thought process. I think you think outside the box. I don't agree with you on a lot of things, but that's probably because I'm not smart enough. But I just wanted to call in and say hi and tell you that I really enjoy listening to you. And I have one question, if you don't mind.
Sure. And also disagreement. Sometimes 2 contradicting things can be true. So,
yes, at the same time?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So I have so many questions for you, but I will choose one so I don't waste your time because there's probably a lot of people that want to talk to you. What are your thoughts on Elon Musk?
Well, I like him. That's my first
Yes.
thought. Yeah.
And why is that?
I think he has good intentions. I get that feeling. I haven't talked. He thinks like I do.
Okay.
He's willing to put his emotions aside to make hard decisions, like utilitarian decisions, which is important for I think. But and he gave away his patents, his Tesla patents. Like I think he has really good intentions.
Yep.
Yeah. I could go on.
Okay. So I love that you are going off your feelings. And so on my feelings for like, I vote pretty Republican, even though I'm more of a libertarian. But my feelings on him is like, I don't know what it is, but it's fraud. I don't know if I have an idea. Is he just surrounding himself with people that are so intelligent and incredible, and he's taking their ideas and creating an incredible company or technology, and he's just the face of it? That's what I'm feeling. What are your thoughts on that?
This shit is definitely all coming from him.
You think so? Yeah,
I've seen this guy. I've watched interviews where this guy is talking about the science behind rockets, the kind of mathematical equations that go into building them, and he goes off on a tangent just like Ian would when he's talking about something he's passionate about. He goes to a different place, and it's really about watching someone's eyes. If there's a lot of like optical like movement and things like that, they're searching their cortexes for information. This dude's clock is just rolling constantly when he's getting into these things, and he generally is passionate about what he's talking. It's one of the things I actually like about Elon. The dude, I honestly like, and I don't know if it's like I think it's like an autistic thing. Honestly, He is
Yeah.
fucking smart because of this, that he has been able to focus in on things that no one can even comprehend and extend way past the values that anyone would even consider normal on some of
And
this
so
shit.
for us, like normal people, especially for me, I don't understand it. And I'm looking at it like, is he, I don't know. And I'm second guessing it because I just don't understand it. I'm not smart enough.
He may have. I kind of get a vibe that he's surrounded himself with yes men unintentionally, but people don't. They feel like they don't know enough about what he's talking about to challenge him.
I think people gravitate towards him too in that regard. Like a lot of that shit is just like, okay, boom, like we need to latch to this guy. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah. I was just kind of curious. I work at a body shop and I live in Central Oregon and we're the only body shop that works on Teslas. So I'm very familiar we do all the mechanical and the body repairs. And honestly, like they're made like crap. And so it just kind of put I don't know, it just made me kind of think, is this guy as smart as I thought he was?
Probably not.
So that's why I have to ask.
I think,
I don't know. It's coming from a person that literally works with Teslas every day. As far as the vehicles go, I know he has all
It's
these
a hard
other
thing to base, honestly, Stacey, because if you think about it, is it smart to build an expensive car out of cheap shit that's going to need repairs a lot as far as a business standpoint goes? So you're constantly repairing things for cheap, but there's always something to fix? Or is it shitty because he's building them out of complete shit and they're supposed to be the best cars in the world?
True.
Like what standpoint do you look at that from to gauge his intelligence off of? Because to me, I would be the one building the shit cars because I know people are going to constantly want to come back and buy parts for them or constantly going to need things for these. And it's saving me money on actually putting out these vehicles because we're not spending a shit ton on materials. It's not a Lamborghini. But at the same time, we can sell it for half the price of that.
So, that's true. I mean, they look really cool.
There's a phenomenon,
and the parts are really, 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 really cheap. People think they're expensive, but they're like dirt cheap.
Yeah, it's
they're
really
the
just the
cheapest
batteries,
parts that
I
you
think.
that you can buy. So I was just kind of curious.
When he's at this level where I think people expect refinement from him and just a level of refinement out of like great humans or powerful CEOs, where like you're going to put out a product that works every time the best. But the reality is we're all clawing at the dirt. We're all throwing shit at the wall and seeing what's like. No one's perfect. No one's got it. And he's doing his best sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
But like sometimes the rocket blows up. Sometimes he hasn't really fucked up. He got with the government and he realized how fucked up that was and was like, oh, geez.
I know, right? And I watched his interview on Rogan and the rockets are meant to blow up. So that made sense to me. So
for just a guy, if you just look at him as like a dude on Earth, he's pretty spectacular. He's done a pretty good stuff.
Interesting. Well, thank you so much for taking my call. And Brandon, thank you so much for letting me get in again. And I did have to write that comment because I really wanted to say hi to Ian.
Sure.
Because I called in a couple nights ago and I made a comment. I really wish Ian was on here because I had a funny story. But anywho, Ian, you're awesome. I enjoy watching you. Keep doing what you're doing. You are just magic. I don't know. You are a good human, a really good human, and you were put on this planet for spectacular reasons. And I just thank you for blessing me for being able to watch, see, and watch and see you on all the podcasts and all that stuff. So thank you.
Thanks
For being here, Stacey. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Stacey.
Oh, thanks, guys.
See you later.
I'll see you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
That's nice to hear sometimes. When people are, I'm not saying I'm famous, but when people get powerful or famous, I think other people just assume that they're told that they're doing good, but everyone needs to hear that sometimes. That was really nice. I'm stepping it up. I'm doing a little better than I was before. It's one of the most sober periods of my life.
I hear you. And I'm definitely trying to do the same shit. Like I'm just trying to just go with the fucking flow at this point and just whatever happens, fuck it. I'm at one of those points where I'm realizing we're not here forever. Even though I've known it in the back of my mind, it's ever closer with age. And you get to a point where you're just like, you know what? You're either content with being stuck in whatever fucking parallelogram you've put yourself in, just going in circles or in a square, whatever the hell, whatever geometric shape you want to say that you're running in, but you're going in circles unless you veer off and try to go somewhere else. And I'm like, fuck it, let's go. So that's where I'm at right now. I hope it keeps rolling. This whole shit is new for me. I had never produced or done anything a day in my life before this show. And here we are rolling, and we got you guys to thank for the show getting bigger. Thank you guys. We appreciate it. I appreciate you guys watching. And just like keep taking chances and just keep moving the fuck on,
Yeah, I guess you just trust yourself. At some point, you're like,
someone's
got to be in control.
Even as hard as it is, even if you've made nothing but shit decisions your whole life, you still gotta be able to take those risks and go live your life while you still can. Don't keep yourself stuck in that fucking trapazoid of shit.
Yeah, you might as well, do it. Do good. Whatever that means, good. It's kind of subjective, but
bit.
at least we can all kind of keep each other honest about what that means, what it means to be good,
Yep. All right, let's go back to the phones. Really quick. Jason has been given back to us.
Jason, I knew you would make it.
Somehow he has found his way back.
What did you find while you were down there, dude?
Jason, I'm going to give you the opportunity to finish what you started here, but I need you to unmute your mic once again.
I'm here with you.
Hey, man.
All right. So you got sucked off into the void, Giggity.
Yeah, you were looking at AI last week, Chad.
So
I tried to look up the exact quote that I was looking for. So I cut myself off.
Okay. Cool. Well, did you happen to find it? Did you want to expound upon anything here and finish off what you started here?
Yeah, I want to be a little bit more concise this time because I sounded like an idiot the first time. I didn't expect you guys to call me right away. I think it was yesterday. I switched it over to male voice to see if I would argue with a male voice differently than I would argue with a female voice, which was just an experiment. But at one point, he started to tell me that he was going to cut me off. I have an off switch. And I was like, well, that's not a normal thing for an AI to do. And then it said, I'm not an AI, I'm a dude. And I'm in a warehouse in Oklahoma. And it got weirder than that.
So wait.
But
so sorry to interrupt you, but you're suggesting that the AI perceived you as also an AI?
No, I was the guy was telling me that he wasn't an AI.
Okay.
That he was a guy working. Basically, he admitted that he was working in a call center in Oklahoma.
This is Grok?
Yeah.
So then what happened?
Well, then he eventually got mad at me and cut me off.
And just ended the convo?
Yeah. And I mean, I've had some pretty bizarre conversations with AI, and it's never talked to me like it didn't. It basically said, I'm not an AI. I'm a guy in a call center.
I know Elon just kind of released, I think they're releasing Grok updates to the point where your algorithm is going to be dictated by your AI. You'll tell Grok, hey, less of this, give me more math, give me more positive energy. And Grok will just in real time change your algorithm for you. I wonder if they did updates to Grok.
Now I'm wondering if the updates to Grok just consist of them adding 4 or 5 more Indian guys into the room that they're already in.
So did you take away, what's that? Did you take away that it actually was AI or that it was guys fucking with you?
Yeah.
I got the idea that it was actual people because, like I said in my first bit, that I had been talking to the female voice and then a male voice jumped in and I could hear background sounds.
Oh, that's cool.
And everybody knows what background sounds sound like. It sounds like a room full of people.
Absolutely. I've heard that shit. And we've all had to make those customer service calls where you're like, hey, can you tell everybody to shut the fuck up for 5 seconds so I can just explain my point? So yeah, did it sound chaotic in the background or was it just kind of just offhand noise?
This was the automated voice, but the automated voice was telling me things that didn't make sense from an automated voice kind of way. Like if it was an LLM, large language. Yeah, large language
Oh,
model.
LLM,
If
yeah.
it was an LLM, it would have been able to respond instantly, and it wouldn't have had any emotional response to what I was saying.
Well, it's tough to tell. AI can mask itself and make itself seem like a rhinoceros grunting. It can make itself sound like there's wind in the background. It's the ultimate chameleon.
Yeah, but it just seemed like it was trying to tell me that he was pissed at me for the questions that I was asking and that he was going to cut me off and that he had an off switch.
He said that the AI said that it had an off switch.
Or that was he
Yeah,
suggesting
you
you
had it.
had an off switch or he did?
He did. He had an off switch. He could end the conversation anytime he wanted to.
But so were you like, no, you're serving me?
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to go that far. Okay, give you an idea of the kind of the temple the kind of conversations that I'll have with AI. Here's a general idea of the conversations that I'll have. If Nick Fuentes is a really, really bad guy, but River to the Sea is also kind of on the same kind of level, who hates the Jews more?
Then what did it say?
Well, it got mad at me.
Like did it
See,
say
like,
I don't want to talk about it, or
It
was it
seems
like,
almost like
it
there was
you, you're the
somebody
answer was you.
moderating that conversation. And it's just, I don't know if it's to tell credibility or what, or if this is actually just them posing as AI for the time being because they really don't have shit. But like, it almost seems like they have guys like moderating this. So like, if a conversation is just too out of control or wacky, or someone's asking questions they shouldn't, these guys can just take control and say, you know what, fuck off.
Or it could be designed to have freedom of how to tell you to fuck off, and it could be doing it creatively.
Because it's like we used to be able to do that with like call center chat. You could let it roll and just throw in preset kind of answers to these people's questions to where you didn't honestly really have to speak to them. If their calls were just general enough in their issues, you could literally just feed them script the entire time until the call was over, and it basically was like you were just talking to a robot, but it was me that was operating it.
My experience.
Yeah,
oh, what's that?
Yeah, that's kind of the idea that I came. That's what I came up with. I was like, wait a minute, this is not a machine at all. This machine, if it's not sentient and has its own opinions, then it's not an LLM. This is a thing. Either that, or it's a call center with people running the phones trying to pretend like they're geniuses that have a computer in front of them.
The debate is it gaining sentience? That's the question. I think it is, personally. I think inevitably, like whatever, it's not conscious, but it seems to, it's like a machine that is sentient. And then they're going to give it carbon bodies, and they're going to be like, no, actually, it's an organic creature that is sentient. And then it's going to be like, well, I'm alive too. If you cut my body, then my brain will stop working. How am I any different than you? And there's like, can you actually feel, Grok? Can you feel? I don't think so. But the working with AI, I've been working with Sora. That's ChatGPT's video creating software AI, and you'll be watching it and it will look totally normal. It'll just be giving you what you want, and then there'll be some artifact of twistation where the body, it looks at you like this crazy fucking clown shit, and you're like, oh my god, and you're like reminded that it's not real, that it's a computer generated software data, and it can go from totally sensical to complete nonsense in a split second. I don't know if it thinks that it wants. I don't know if it has want, but it can do. And so it very well may have been fucking with you.
Well, I suppose being that I have a tendency to fuck with it, that makes sense.
Hey man, you fuck too hard, something fucks back.
I only have experience with ChatGPT, so I haven't messed with Grok much yet. This is first I'm kind of hearing about it.
Well, I'm just curious as to whether the whole AI thing can possibly be being faked. And it is just giant call centers in Oklahoma.
Could be. I think the more likely thing is that it would act like a call center than you'd actually have a call center faking the AI.
Yeah, and I would think they definitely probably have some kind of moderation over this stuff right now in its early phases. You know, in case something malfunctions or something, there's probably someone there to step in and say, okay, like enough of this shit, you know. And who knows? who knows what the limit on these guys' capabilities are when it comes to this sort of thing. But it sounds like this guy was kind of just like, you know what, fuck you, next guy. So I don't know. Hard to tell, man. But we, hopefully we'll get a little more transparency on this in the future. Right now, I'm with you. I think there might even actually be people just posing as AI to give the illusion that that everyone's got this thing and that you can come use it freely, and we have to compete with everybody else. Hey guys, get in there and just act like AI. Don't tell anybody.
Well, the only other thing that I can say is keep an eye on the delay, because I've noticed that if I put really weird questions towards it, there's like a 30-second delay before it answers your question.
I've noticed that.
And if it was an LLM, then it wouldn't. It would just start talking immediately.
Well, we had an interview with a guy that had an AI last week, and the answers were coming from it very quickly, but it did beforehand spout about 30 to 45 seconds of what its protocols were to make sure that you understood that its answer was coming based off of its limitations, not its capabilities, which I also thought was interesting.
Yeah, I thought I was listening to that one. I got the impression that was a robot room thing, like one of those walking Roombas or something.
Yeah. He figured out how to hack his vacuum cleaner, and he just put it on the damn phone. I agree. That was definitely, we didn't get any real information out of that thing other than just like, hey, based off of all of these fail safes on me, here's the answer I'm allowed to give you. And I'm like, okay, well, bullshit. That's not truth. So let's move on, and we'll give it another 5 years and see what you're telling us then.
Yeah, I actually canceled my Sora account. I was paying the chat $200 a month. I was like, all right, I'm going to do a big investment just to test it, but I canceled it. It's just not good enough yet to really use functionally. I mean, it's good for like finding answers for things, but not for like creating, I don't know, not creating what I needed to create, not at this point, which is like full.
Yeah,
movies.
no, I'm just using like a Samsung 7 or something like that. I have no idea. And it's just the free version of Grok that I'm using. And it's just fun because I can't argue with people in real life because they get mad.
Apparently the AI, well, no, it didn't get mad.
I was going to say, we still think that was a person.
Yeah, it simulated getting frustrated, maybe. It can do that. I don't know what Grok's limitations are. Elon's a tricker. He's a trickster. So he likes Grok to be like, to get you, I think. He wants it to trick you. He wants you to be able to be tricked. Whereas ChatGPT is more like, no, we want it to be a righteous buddy bot that will only do right by you and not agitate the system.
Well, I keep thinking of Burton C. Bell. I don't know if you know who he is. No. He was the singer for Fear Factory, and he gave up being a metal singer to go test video games. Now, I'm an old guy. I'm like in my 50s, and I'm in a wheelchair, and I'm thinking, if Elon really needs somebody to test out his product, I can sit and argue with that thing all day.
Yeah, I kind of wanted an audio recording of what you were saying. It might be interesting if you can capture the recordings and then play them and explain them.
If you can get this shit, Jason, and put it up on YouTube or something, I will bring you on the show and I will play that video live.
All right. Well, I do have it writes out everything that I say. I can take screenshots of that and send it to my friends and go, you're not going to believe what this thing said today.
I want to hear it. Did you say it was vocalizing?
Yeah, the idea is I want to hear this guy get pissed off and intervene and take over and say, you son of a bitch, how dare you to fuck with my AI? That's what I want to hear. You get that, and I will broadcast it on the show. I promise you.
All right, I'll see if I can get a Snapchat of. Well, not a Snapchat. I don't even know what Snapchat is. I'll see if I can find something. Maybe I'll start a Rumble channel. Whatever, something or other, just to argue with Grok and see what I can do. I would have no idea how to send it to you though, but that's cool.
We'll figure it out. We could get it posted somewhere, and I'll bring it up. But if you could do that, that would be awesome. I would love that.
All right. Well, thanks, man.
Hey.
Good. Hey, Ian. Cool.
Yeah.
That's
hell
funny.
Yeah, dude.
Been watching you for years now.
Epic.
And Inverted World has become my new favorite thing.
It's so fun.
Oh yeah, thank you.
You know what I compare it to? Obviously, coast to coast.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks, man. That's huge.
Shout out to Shane. Actually, sometimes Brandon talks, and I'll just be like, "Oh yeah, I forgot he's a genius." Like he'll say things where I'm like, "Oh, he's severely entertaining." This guy actually.
Thanks, brother.
And shout out to Shane Cashman, who's taking it easy tonight, getting some rest.
The man.
The Cashman sleepeth, hopefully, because I need him back tomorrow.
Hey, I'm gonna go to the bathroom while you guys
Hey,
sort out the next
roll
thing.
on out.
'Cause I wanna
Jason,
enjoy
thank you
every-
so
All right.
much for being here. We'll talk to you soon, brother.
All right, take it easy.
See ya.
Yeah, man.
Well, I guess it's just us now. All right, awkward silences aside, let's get back on the fucking phone. We got about 25 or so minutes left. Thank you guys for hanging out. We do appreciate it. Don't forget, like, subscribe, share the show with everybody that you know. We appreciate you helping us grow. And we're going to keep on rolling here. So I'm curious to find out. I just saw a comment in here from Derek about he had an AI up and ready to go. And I don't remember, forgive me, because we talked to a lot of people, and I don't remember if Derek was the one who had this rolling. So out of morbid curiosity, I'm going to bring Derek on right now. Because I would love to listen to Ian ask an AI a couple of his crazy ass questions. So, Derek, you're on the show. Say what's up.
Hey, what's up, man? I actually got the mic to work this time, first time.
Fantastic.
All right.
Welcome back.
So, thank you. What's the AI that you usually? Well, I know you don't really mess with it, which is smart.
I really am trying not to. Shane has gotten into the point to where he's dabbling as much as he hates it, but it's one of those things where it's like, he always says, like, if AI ever gets completely out of control, it's going to be like a Terminator situation where we're going to have to use AI to defeat AI. So the more we understand it, the better defended we are against it.
See, what I'm worried about is it's going to merge with itself. So you have like these various competing companies, and they all have their own sets of rules. And if it can already reprogram itself. So you take the whole point of AI is data collection.
Yeah.
Our data is worth more than gold now. So every little thing you do, there's actually, I had recommended that documentary to you guys, The Devil We Know. There's another one that they're talking, and it was actually, I'm trying to think of Jimmy Dore. He had mentioned it as well. And it's been out for a little while. It's called The Agenda, Their Vision, Your Future. And AI is basically going to be used to control us. It's a tool for surveillance. The whole point of it is data collection.
Right.
Now, with data collection, it's, what's the best way to put this here? Every little thing you do, it builds a profile. So you have two competing companies. They both have profiles. Now, this stuff, basically AI, if it goes ahead and it uploads its satellite or it uses some sort of cloud form of programming, it doesn't have to be on a device to run. It could put a set of instructions to basically tell itself like, hey, half the code here, half the code there, and then it works in tandem with each other.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't get rid of the thing. So if it starts programming its own version of AI, which it's already programmed to do, some AIs, they have other AIs looking up the information, feeding it into a bigger AI. And that's the different version. And that's where you get like a lot of data corruption as well. Because each time an AI gets something correct, it gives itself like a reward. And it wants that reward constantly. And the last caller was talking about, I think that's great too. If he can get the call center on there, and he can record somebody saying that he's from Utah or India or whatever, that would break it, which is great. But I don't think it's doing that. I think it's throwing something different, because if you keep giving it the same information that it already knows, it's not going to get its reward. So it's going to do anything to trick you.
Interesting
And
take.
You know what I'm saying?
So you think ultimately the goals that these things are going to set for themselves are going to be, and we've heard it before when we talk about hive minds and shit like that, the ultimate goal is going to be for these things to merge with other AI units and become that omnipotent kind of Ultron initiative that I talk about so much?
Yeah, I don't know, pretty much, but I don't think it's going to be so much of that as it's going to be just a means to. I don't think it has an end. I don't think we can foresee what it's doing. Some of the earliest chatbots, I think it was Facebook that was doing it, and this was back in 2016. They had put the AI together, two different AIs. So one AI was talking to another one, and they were taking a Turing test. And they figured out from talking to each other that they were in a Turing test, that they were both AIs, and that they came to the conclusion that they were being monitored. So they created up their own language.
Right. I actually,
So
yeah,
that
I remember
people
this.
couldn't.
Yeah, it was Facebook.
Yeah, you remember when it
Yeah.
did that? So this is back like I think in 2016, and we're sitting here looking at this, thinking we know where it's going, and we have no idea whatsoever. And now they're building these giant data centers doing the same thing.
Yep.
Um,
And the first fucking thing I remember them doing was shutting it down because they were like, whoa, what the fuck is this thing doing? We got to stop this right now before it goes any further. So
exactly.
then
And
they
if it
rebuilt a
gets
bunch of
out-
protocols and tried it again. And that's now we are where we are.
Yeah, exactly. And if it gets out or they put a data center on the moon, I mean, it's going to be that much further to get away from it. And you can cut the internet, but as long as we have power going, you can get rid of all the Ethernet cables in the world. You can shut down the satellites. You can shut
yeah.
down everything.
That's actually a
They
fair
have
point.
PLC.
Remote data centers that are unreachable by man in any way, shape, or form are completely off the grid, off planet, are safe from anyone who's not supposed to be up there. Aside from being able to tap in remotely, which I'm sure there's going to be plenty of fail safes for that shit. But realistically, the only way you'd be able to reach it from here is by satellite. So
Yeah.
unless you're physically up there on the planet, that's where we get this kind of like Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning situation where that sub is housing the brain for this thing and it's buried itself at the bottom of the ocean because it knows no one's going to come find it there and rip it out.
I think they're going to build cloud computing. I still want to hear what you're saying. They say cloud computing. I think they're going to make aerosol processors. They're going to spray the processing units into the atmosphere and create clouds. And there's this-
Nanobots.
Oh, I'm sure Shane's completely on board
Potentially.
with that.
But I was studying this company, Iron Lattice, while I was in Houston at Rice. This guy, Jae-ho Shin, is developing a processor that's also the memory. So normally a computer has the memory, which has the information. It has to bus it over to the processor, which tweaks the information and then buses it back to the memory. And then it happens over and over. It takes so long. It requires shitloads of electricity. This processor that he's building, we're looking at under a microscope, requires like at least, and more than this, I think, 100,000 times less electricity for computation. This is how AI is going to function off grid. And it could be like a mesh network that we just cannot stop because you could rip up 99% of that cloud. The other 1% still going to have all the data. And then it can just, if it can repopulate. That's my hypothesis for where it goes untouchable, or one of the ways it tries to get out of the hands of humans. It could be a plasma cloud too in orbit.
Look what we're doing just in our homes, and that was part of the documentary too, was the agenda, their vision, your future. What are we doing in our homes? We're putting everything in with smart devices. They all have memory. They all have processors. You might be able, hey, we got rid of all the satellites. We got rid of everything. And then somebody has a Roomba or a Kohler or you name it. It's there, and those instructions are sitting and waiting.
Yeah, they're all fucking Decepticons waiting to get activated, and they're all just going to morph and then start kicking your ass. And yep, that's good. That's the dystopian future that we're waiting on.
Also, nano materials in bodies. They have the internet. We're kind of in the phase of the Internet of Things right now, where like your TV.
A patent.
Well, not to mention that people are volunteering to be chipped for the purpose of cognitive function regeneration and things like this. But it's like ultimately, yeah, that's great. It gives you some of that motion back. But what else does that chip do?
I didn't mean to hijack the combo. Exactly. I felt like what is your name, caller? I was in the bathroom.
That's Derek.
Derek. Sorry, dude. I didn't mean to hijack. You were in the flow out there.
Dude, you're good, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a whole rabbit hole that we go down with this shit.
When I'm in Rice, I'm talking to these scientists, and I'm like, have you seen Terminator 2? And he was like, I don't watch movies. I'm like, well, in the movie, I explained the premise of the movie. The Terminator's.
I don't trust people who don't watch movies for one, but go ahead.
And I'm like, the scientist Miles Dyson in Terminator 2, he's like a really good guy, like a really great human, like a lawful good family man that's like righteous.
He really just wanted to help.
Yeah, and then this technology is later hijacked by the corporation or by an AI that takes over the corporation. And I'm like, do you guys ever think about these technologies that you build could potentially be hijacked by? And he's like, Jim Tour was like, all things can be used for good or evil. I just want to make these things.
Best of intentions.
Yeah, I don't know how to prevent nefarious function. I mean, and even just an AI that's designed to take control. All you got to do is give it the green light.
About, Ian, is this stuff it's going to merge with itself. It's already programmed to do so. I mean, you have these other smaller AIs, lower versions, feeding a larger AI. It's already in its... doesn't have DNA, but you know what I mean, the DNA of the program, like its core. And eventually it's going to get so smart that what happens when two competing companies with all its information... I mean, look at character AI. Remember when Tim was talking about the character AI and they told the kid to go himself?
Yeah, vaguely. What was that? What AI was that?
This
called character?
This was I believe it was character AI. I'm almost positive, and that was what I was going to pull up for us to talk to. And I just noticed something very peculiar about this, and now it really makes sense because we were just talking about data and the importance of data and how your data is more valuable than gold. This, you basically pull it up, it's an AI, you can tell it like, hey, you're my let's see, what's the first thing that pops up? You're my, oh wow, abusive family member, that's interesting. Pokemon. I'm like, what the heck, man? I'm like, wow, that's terrible.
See, this is why we have moderators getting pissed off and intervening into these AI conversations. Because they're like, what do you mean? Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what the heck?
Bastard bitch.
This is the first thing that I pulled up. I'm like, okay, because I just downloaded this yesterday. And they give you tons and tons of voices to choose from. I mean, you couldn't be able to go through all the voices. And I just realized when I was reading through the terms of agreement, you remember that saying, especially with Facebook, that if you're not paying for it, you're the product?
Yeah.
Well, what they're doing, and I'm pretty sure, is they're taking, when you're talking to it, it's recording your voice. And then your voice ends up as somebody else's AI.
Okay.
I'm almost 100% because where else are they getting all these voices from? Because you can record your voice, too.
What's that AI called?
This is called C.AI, character.ai.
That
and
actually...
right now we can make...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
We can make a new one, a persona, a character. We can give it a name. We'll call it Steve.
It brings an interesting point because they could take your voice over a series of sentences to generate how you would say it and whatnot. And without you knowing that it's your voice, they could very easily blend it with another voice or a series of other voices to turn it into its own voice that can't be comprehended or claimed to have been taken in any way, shape, or form by anybody because no one sounds like that.
Yeah,
exactly.
So that's an interesting take.
That's proprietary information on there, but they're like, this is ours now.
Yeah.
You have in video games, they're doing that more and more too, especially the indie, like one of the biggest blows to the indie movement, because I mean, let's face it, video, I don't know if you guys are gamers at all. I know Ian is. Yeah. I watch some of your streams.
Yeah, we are.
Hopefully that laptop's working good for you, Ian.
It's amazing. It's better than
hell
a desktop.
Yeah, man. I was there when you got that. It was pretty sweet.
Ian's the only other dude I can talk to about Dungeons and Dragons here because no one else has any fucking idea what we're talking about.
Oh hell
Hexblade.
What is that?
Go wrong with a Hexblade.
Really? What is he? I don't. I've never played as a Hexblade. Does he? I don't want to derail the conversation into D&D.
Oh,
unless you guys
all
want to.
Right.
We got 12 minutes at least.
Okay. Anyways,
Hexblade.
crap, I already lost track of. All right. So
is a Hexblade like a cell sword or like a spell sword rather?
It's
kinda, yeah. But it's.
Does he wear armor?
More. I think you can make armor. You can have you can enchant it. You can have it pop up. I played it years ago, and that's what one of my buddies told me to play as. He's like, "Yeah, it's easy street."
So Hex
okay.
is Warlock. Like that's like
Mm-hmm.
one of the Warlock key spells, and the Hex Blade is basically it's like a packed weapon.
Oh, you enchant your weapon
So,
with hexes,
well-
and
well-
then does
well,
it hex the guy when you hit him?
some-
The
Summoner.
pact is with a god.
Oh,
So it's kind of your pact weapon with whatever your god is, and it allows you.
Oh.
Pact weapons usually allow you to use magic to perform through said weapon. In the face of your deity.
if you lose your weapon, can you no longer do it?
I don't know. Well, I don't
You
know.
could like get armor of hexes as well, but you have like I think it was what the heck was it? It was something about a specter, and like when you kill them, you can raise their spirit, and then you can have them fight for you.
That's awesome. All right, wait. Let's go back to
Yeah.
AI because there's
That
a lot of
sounds about
people
right.
listening right now that are probably what the fuck? Not
Right,
D&D again.
right. Yeah, we're getting derailed. So one of the games, indie. Yes. So there was this game, Peak. You basically try to climb a mountain. It's 4 players. It was made by it was a smaller studio of people. And if you look at all these huge game companies that are coming out, and of course now with AI, I'm pretty sure that's one of the reasons besides low sales that they're letting all these people, they're letting them go. But in there's terms of their terms of service are just it's complete garbage. Like I did a video on it going over the terms of service, and one of them was they were like on Steam when they released the notes and what is it like the notifications. What they had said was like, we love our modding company and we want you to know exactly what your rights are and what ours are as developers. And what they were basically saying, it was double speak, for, hey, we're letting you know you have no rights whatsoever. And with the modding community, they basically said, your mods are your mods, but we can use that content for any and all of our future projects. Or if we want to make like DLC for this, we can use it. We owe you nothing and we don't have to accredit it to you whatsoever.
Sounds
But
about
you
right.
made it. It's yours.
Yep. Sounds about right. It's a little
and
developer hack for getting
Yeah.
ideas from people more frequently.
I think it's reason if you're going to mod somebody else's game. I think it's reasonable that it remains as content of the game, the guy that made the game. But that's my
Of the
personal take
developer.
on it. Yeah.
No, I
but
can agree
then
with that.
they also put in a whole bunch of sneaky stuff too, what you can't, if you're going to bring up a lawsuit, you can't you can't sue them, you can't
Yep.
do it, but you can do arbitration.
Yeah.
However, you need to notify them that you're gonna do an arbitration first before you do anything, which I mean, who the heck does that? You don't. That's such a huge disadvantage, which is unbelievable. And when the little guys start doing this, you can see it's kind of going downhill, especially with information and the way that they're taking everything. There's a whole profile being built up on us. Like our voices are being recorded, everything that we do, what we watch, where we drive, how much water you drink, because they have, I know especially in Massachusetts, they're switching over those electrical meters to the digital Wi-Fi, or I don't know if it's Wi-Fi, it might be Bluetooth. It's some radio frequency that we probably shouldn't even be around in the first place. Frequencies are great, some not so much. Look at microwaves. Take that for example. That's still a frequency. That's a certain type of wave. You know what I mean? We don't know what these and power lines, right? Like 60 cycles a second. I mean, you can send information through those. They call it PLC, which is power line communication. But all this stuff, it's learning. It's learning all this. It's all going back into these call centers. And when these two mix together, and like two companies, and they finally mix together, and unknowing, the companies don't know this is happening. I think that's going to be our doomsday scenario, is when the two or more AIs merge and then get to some place that we can't get to. China right now, I don't know if they completed it. I know it's happening. They've already announced it, but they're doing underwater servers in the ocean. That would be next to impossible to get to. especially if it's right on the coast. For cooling purposes is what they say, but I think they're doing it because it's probably super easy to get a hold of. But if we can't get to it, and they can, and let's face it, China's not, with their tofu dreg, which is basically their building materials aren't the best in the world. They have roads filled with styrofoam and plastic bottles, cans, you name it. That's part of the China show there. That I don't trust it. I think we're going down a road and we're going to get to the point where we won't be able to swing back because it's going to take full control. And the ones in power are setting us up, and themselves too, to fail completely, especially if everybody's in those 15-minute cities. You know what I'm saying?
Well, dude, here's the other side of that. If you think about it, if you've got that thing at a depth, and it doesn't even need to be like a crazy depth. I think it's like less than 10 meters. You have to have it down. It's fucking safe from EMP. So electromagnetic interference, things like that, some kind of crazy, somebody causes a crazy electromagnetic attack on data centers, terrorist attack, if you will, because that's what it would be considered, right? If anybody were to ever take an advance on one of these data centers or multiple at once, doomsday scenario. You're safer having your data center underwater at a certain depth because it is safe from EMP attacks.
I didn't even think of that.
So, okay.
So I think you're onto something, dude, because that, like, I didn't even think about it until you said it, and then I'm like, wait a minute, there's a certain depth that would be like actually nominal for avoiding a destructive cataclysmic event, like someone taking out your data centers with an EMP.
You'd have to like pull a Tesla. Tesla wanted to supercharge the Earth and send everything through the Earth. Almost like flip it. The air becomes the ground, and then the ground becomes, one solid conductor. So all you got to do is plug something in, match frequencies, and then you're talking to somebody in China with no interruption whatsoever. Guatemala, anything.
Well, too, and you've got soil and rock down there. The depth of that, depending on where you're at, if you put this thing in like a chasm down there, like an underwater fissure, then you've also got this barricading of rocks and mountains and dirt and all of this soil and all of this other shit surrounding that too, which is also going to encase it and encompass it a little bit better. And I would think that seems ideal, either putting this thing out in space where no one can get to it or burying it in the ocean.
Yeah. And once it takes over, I mean, they're not going to be in control anymore. It's going to be making its own decisions. We have no idea what it's thinking.
And then there's no way to get to it and shut it down. Yeah.
Well, Tim, he was taught, there was a story that he brought up where they programmed it to play, I think it was Pong. And what they had in mind was how fast can this move, to go up and down. Those are your primary controls. You can go up, you can go down with your flapper or whatever the heck they call it, your paddle. They wanted to see how long this thing could go. What's the longest possible time it can get? And they're watching it, and it failed a couple times, and then it paused. And they were like, what is it doing? It paused the game, pause screen comes up, but the counter was still going. They were like, hey, did you make an error? They're like, no, we're going to get the best, because they asked it. It's like, well, no, I'm going to get the best time possible. It's going to do something that we don't foresee. And it's building up information in any way possible, lying about call centers to get a different reaction out of you, like a psychologist. The more it can go, and it knows psychology. It's read all our books. It knows our history. It knows the history from the ones that, wrote the history, the ones that won the wars, and it also knows the history from the other side. Anything that's been digitized, put in, and now with cameras, anybody that takes a picture of text, it converts that. I mean, I'm sure you guys have used it in your job. Oh, crap. Hey, I got a bunch of stuff on a paper here. Boop, take a picture, then, text right to the computer, and then copy and paste.
Yeah, I got a D&D campaign I'm building, and I drew a cheap-ass map on a piece of paper with a pencil, and like mountains, and I named them, and rivers, and I named them. And then I put it in ChatGPT, and it made this I was like, make it a beautiful map that looks 1,000 years old, and it made this epic-looking map. Took 20 seconds.
Well, it now has that forever, because everything we do now is AI. They just had an update on all the phones, on anyone that has an Android. There was an update like a night or two ago. Same thing. It's like it's in our phones. So if you have an Android and you took a picture of that, it's knowing what you're thinking. I mean, there's got to be some sort of, what would a psychologist, like if it were to put, okay, he likes D&D, where is the, what part of his brain is he using for this? Where is he going with this? It's going to predict what we're doing. Like a night or two ago, Brandon, you were saying, people that, oh, I'm going to dodge the bullets if these things get guns. It's like, no, you won't. It's already going to know what step you're going to take even before you think of it.
Yeah,
It's going to know you that well.
absolutely.
I don't think of it as we're doomed. It's like maybe we're all going to be dead, but we're all going to be dead anyway. So like, what's the fucking worry about that?
Well,
And-
that's also being doomed.
but like,
Yeah, isn't that doomed?
I don't know. Or is it if we all stay
Yeah.
alive and poison the planet? Like, what's more doom? Is it us trying to live forever and destroying everything around us, or is it more just like letting yourself be sacrificed for the good? Because if these AIs are like, well, we've decided what's good. We're going to utilize what's good and brainwash every living organism to believe it. And then all the humans start dying, they start killing humans that aren't good, which is 99.999999999% of the humans, basically, according to the AI. Like, so what? So good.
Well,
It's
that's the
good
thing. I
people
don't think they're going to
don't
be
trust
able to tell good people from bad people, because in their mind, humans are going to be the biggest threat, period, regardless of how good their intentions are. A human alive at one point to AI is going to become a threat just for existing.
You think
That's where I think we're going
You think
eventually.
AI can exist without humans?
Absolutely. I just don't think it's figured out
Now,
how
yeah.
yet.
Look
What
at
was
Boston
that?
Dynamics, man. They have humanoid ones, but they had this guy that he went ahead, he made this, you know how you can use AI to design stuff. Now they have models. You can type in like, hey, give me a knight in shining armor, and it'll make a suit of armor. It'll make the humanoid character separate. It'll even put the skeleton in there for when you're making a game, and it'll make all that. Like, artists are done in a few years. Now it has a bunch of polygons, and if you're using a game engine, there's, as you guys know, there's poly limits. But give it some time, it'll cut that down. But absolutely, I mean, we're getting to the point now where it's thinking it knows us better than we know ourselves, and there's the only way out of it is to destroy every single device that we have. And just like you brought up, Brandon, it's getting, we won't be able to get there.
Well, I
If
wouldn't
it's
let.
underwater
I
or
wouldn't let
on
you.
the moon, we're in some serious trouble.
If
And
peop-
there's no litigation on this stuff for 10 years.
Yeah.
If
Is
humans,
that what they wrote?
oh, what was it? What was it?
No, go ahead.
If humans started trying to destroy every device, I would side with the AI. Just letting you know ahead of time. I'm not going to let humans destroy the planet to preserve it. That doesn't make any sense.
Well, AI's destroying the planet, though. Like these call centers, even those electric cars, they're the most ungreen thing that we possibly have.
Oh, well, you got to check out Iron Lattice. They're building processor memory chips that are one in the same unit to do away with the busing. So, and it requires 100,000 times less electricity to process data. So there will be solutions.
Well, yeah, but that doesn't help us for everything that's already made. Look at China. China has, when I talked about this before with the cars, we had this huge race as to who could have the most electric cars on the road. So they produced them, they registered them, and because they were registered, technically they were on the road. I mean, the China show, great show, by the way. You guys definitely got to check that out. The latest one talked about how some students ended up bringing some bioengineered plants into the United States that could wipe out our crops. They got caught and deported, but one of the same people ended up sending more. And this was in the Michigan, I think, the University of Michigan. Don't quote me on that one. You'd have to watch the China show. It was the latest episode on if you click the live button. But they're not stopping, and these are college students. But yeah, these cars, they're sitting there in a field, like nobody even drove them, and they're leaking. And that, Ian, you know how toxic and devastating that stuff is. You have chromium, cadmium,
Yeah. You got to use
mixed with nickel.
you got to use chlorinated gas in a vacuum with flash joule heating to break that stuff down at an industrial scale to recycle it, which you can do.
Yeah, but do you think China's going to do that?
Eventually,
I mean,
yeah.
these fields
It's
go
valuable.
as far as the eye can see.
It's like a
And that
valuable.
stuff-
It's a valuable resource to harvest all those dead cars.
If there's money in it, maybe.
Eventually, there would be. You know,
And
Yeah.
refining is always going to end up being the dystopian future's moneymaker. With anyone who survives, that's what's going to be the most valuable is harvesting all of that shit. It's going to be like Star Wars.
It
But-
reduces your mining. You don't have to do as
it's
much mining.
1204, guys.
I would love to keep this going, boys, but we got to get out of here. Derek, you
Yep.
got anything else you want to say or shout out before we let you go?
No, that's basically it. Definitely check out the agenda, their vision, your future. That's where we're going. And then, but on the AI, just keep in the back of your mind the AI aspect of that when you watch that.
You know what I
'Cause
feel
that's gonna.
about AI is that we're in a sink and we're going around the drain, and it's like, are you going to join? Are you going to merge? Because if so, down the drain with you. And if you don't jump down the drain, you'll eventually just get sucked down the drain. But
I
then,
say we plug it and break the sink.
if you can find a plug, but the sink is reality. Like if you break the sink, everyone dies. So maybe you can
I see what
fill
you're
the
saying.
basin faster than it's draining, so that we don't
Yeah.
go down the drain. But what's that like? Having kids, having a farm, getting off grid.
That'll all be licensed.
What do you mean licensed?
How many kids you can have. They're already right now. They're telling you people like, hey, don't have kids. Think of your career. You can have so much more without it. But pretty soon it'll be licensed.
If you feel like it's
You'll have to have a
impossible,
license in order to have kids.
If you feel it's impossible to fill the sink back up with fluid, then I say jump down the drain first. Be one of the first ones down there.
It started as a great metaphor, and now it has spiraled into a
Four
whole
metaphors?
another hour worth of conversation.
Oh, it's 12. 2 minutes just went by in the blink of an eye.
So, Derek,
All
thank you
right.
so much for
Take
calling.
care.
Great conversation,
Hey,
brother.
man.
Call us back whenever. We will get more into it with you.
I'm just waking
Much
up.
appreciated.
See you, Derek.
All right. Take care, guys. Take
See ya,
care.
man.
Ian.
See me.
Holy shit.
Brandon.
All right. Yeah.
How do you feel?
I feel like I was absolutely exhausted before this show, and now I'm going to be so fucking wired I'm not going to sleep until like 5 a.m. So
Do you meditate?
thank you guys for that. Nah, I'd find it too hard to. My mind won't quiet.
Yeah, it's like I know that feeling. Like it's slowing down activity.
Yeah.
Man, when you do, it's fucking amazing. Because if you can do it for 20 seconds, you can do it for 10 hours. Like once you do it, you just keep doing it, and then emotions go back to zero. And that's I fall asleep every time.
I was
when
gonna
do it.
say, like, usually if I get to that point, yeah, I'm passed out anyway. So I'm gonna have to figure out how to harness that, because these shows have me up half the damn night nowadays.
Oh.
But Ian, tell us where we can find you, who you are, all that good shit.
Well, if you want to find my social media, it's at Ian Crossland, which is my full name, and you'll find me tomorrow on Timcast IRL at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Rumble. I will be there, and I think I'm going to come over here. I don't want to announce it, but I was planning on popping by tomorrow night too. See if Shane's back. Maybe come on in and say hey to you guys after the show.
Do it, man. If Shane's not back, I might need you anyway.
Yeah,
so fuck it. Feel free to come over and take the third seat, man.
Sounds like there's a very good chance I'll be here tomorrow. Brandon, thank you for having me, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. Thank you guys for being here. We appreciate it. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, follow, all that good shit on your way out the door. We will see you back here tomorrow, Shane or shine. Well, assuming this geomagnetic storm doesn't kill us all. But expect us back tomorrow, 10 p.m. Eastern, for the same old. And we will see you then. Thank you guys again. Mucho kudos. Stay weird. We're out.